What is everybody? Welcome back to the Transparency. It's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday night. This is the Idaho4 all new document drop, and some new information on some old docs. Okay, here we go. I also just finished up a really good interview, things that we've been working on, like I've said in the past, for a huge documentary that I'm doing. Where I'm going to be colliding in the worlds of the Idaho4 with the Dr. Moore case, with a little touch of and sprinkle in about some human sex trafficking and the power, the corruption of Idaho. Okay. All right. Well, let's first start with this. All right, so remember that this is this spreadsheet that I did earlier? Well, I'm going to point out something. This is the Eric Gower interview that Van Leuven did, okay? I want to point out, again, look at this. He messes up on purpose, and he writes that he actually typed up his report on 11/18/2022. See that? No, he did the interview on 11/18/2022. Because if he actually would have wrote this up on 11/18, it would have never been report 170. It would have been like report before 30. Okay. Here, how we know that it was wrote up way later and at the end of March is because this date right here, which is, oh wait, hold on one second. Nah. Big show tomorrow, by the way. Make sure you guys are joining us. 1 p.m. Yes, Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. I will be here with Pavarotti at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, we never get to really ask him questions in real time because all of his shows are done via pre-made video. So we have a list of questions, plus we are going to talk about all sorts of things. All right. Thank you so much there. No gloves, no booties. Best host, best mods, best channel. Thank you for always bringing the goods. Guys, I'm still getting used to like these names that are like our @ symbol. At Douglas Abel. Thanks for your hard-working abilities. Thank you, Douglas. Allie Tally, love the name. Thank you so much. B is for Becca. Thank you so much. And this is supposed to be 616. Okay. What is up, Boston? I see your ass in here. I see you harassing me. All right. Take a look. So this is the approval date. So when you type up your report, you're waiting to get it approved, and it usually happens like it's supposed to happen like right there a little bit after. That's how we know that this report was not written up until the end of March, because it was approved on March 30th. Now, let's get to something that I want to point out. This interview took place after Dylan and Bethany were interviewed by Blaker on the 16th and the 17th, so you got a lot of information to work with. So on November 18th, again, after the 16th and 17th. As Gower was one of the last people to see the victims prior to the homicides, he was a person of interest in the investigation. Gower cooperated fully and completely with our inquiries. Why did you have to wait so long to write this up? Okay. Gower provided his telephone and consented to a search of the phone, as well as providing us with the password for the phone. So the question is, did he download his phone? Oh, there you go. The phone was downloaded during the interview and returned back to him. So that's just a reminder that it was downloaded. So it's going to be available for us to get. He also gave a sample of his DNA, and that was all transferred. Now, this interview was recorded with both audio as well as video recordings, which we are going to bring to you here shortly. Gower advised that he was a driver for both Uber and Lyft. Okay, he drove a Prius bearing the Idaho plates of blank. He said he's one of the only drivers in the area that serves Moscow for being a Uber/Lyft driver. Now, I want to talk about that. In order for you to just come right out and say that, the reason you'd be able to say that is because the people that you're getting, that you're picking up and dropping off, they're basically telling you that. They're like, man, we can never get an Uber in this town. Okay? Something along those lines. Then he becomes, obviously acquaintances or develops some type of working relationship with somebody that here, just call me on this. If you don't, if you can't ever get an Uber in the area, here's my number, text me and I'll come and make a ride for you. So moving on. Friday, November 11th, he worked until 3 a.m. Then on the 12th, going into the 13th, he worked and said he worked until 3 or 4 a.m. He advised that his wife was not home. We already know that. Now, remember, in the first original interview with Blaker, he says that we can even go back and listen to it. Very, very important here. You truly can't make this up. He says he never went back to that area. Well, he did go back to that area multiple times. And now here in this interview on the 18th, hey, he was working until 3 or 4. And asked, when asked about an alibi, you would never, ever say this. Okay? This is talking about who takes rides. Remember, he never said that Dylan texted him or anything like that. But let's go right here, number 10. Gower said when he got to the house, the lights were on and that there were 4 cars parked. 4. Now, with the SUV that would be the Explorer, that makes it 5. So here he says 4. Now, he would have seen days worth of pictures of that house all over the internet, all over the news. And from those pictures, him to say, yeah, I saw the SUV that's parked to a slant. Yeah, brother. After you saw every single news article and every single news report. So this has this is worthless at this point. This interview and him stating anything about the SUV, the Explorer, that just goes out the window to give it any weight. Okay. That he didn't actually have a false memory here that, okay, you've seen the house and all the cars out there over and over and over that, oh yeah, that's what I saw. Okay. So much so that this is important. Right here, we're going to zoom in, is that when he says that there's only 4 cars parked there, and then he says, I mean, it was really important for Van Leeuwen to say this. He said he noticed a black SUV on the left side sticking out. Well, guess what? Either way you slice and dice it, if you want to say that SUV was there, then that means that another car wouldn't have been there. Okay? But I personally just believe you've seen the videos and the pictures of the news and the house. He said there was also a silver car on the road. Bang, boom, there it is. I said I would bring it to you guys. I'd remind us of it. He said there was also a silver car on the road. But he did not notice anybody walking on the road. That's where he is mentioning the fact that up on the left-hand side, guess what? He's talking about that silver car because he's talking about at 1:54, literally 2 minutes before he goes up into that area. That's what I'm telling you is right here at 1:54. He comes in at 1:56. Okay. This is the car that enters and goes towards 1112 King Road. And then voila, poof, it's gone. Because it doesn't make the loop. It looks like it just dies off into to the left. Well, Eric claims that he saw that car and that it was a sedan and it was silver. That is literally the description to a T of the Fusion or a vehicle like it, right? Because of this amazing spreadsheet that we did, which me and Mark went over again after the live that was this afternoon, we went over it again for 2 hours to see if anything was off, what could be tweaked. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But Mark's like, no, man, you got every car that's in there. The only thing that we could think of is if we really want to dissect the 3 cars that come in, and then there was just 1 or 2 in the back of Valenta. So Eric on the 18th, which would have been after Tisdale made his report on the 15th, when Eric then does his interview with Idaho State Police on the 18th, he could have potentially had the luxury of talking to Jacob Tisdall. Just remember that. Why does it matter? Everything matters. Every little piece matters. Let's go back here. So again, he should be saying, if he saw that SUV, it should have been 5 cars, you guys, not 4. Okay, you have the 4 cars along the front. The SUV makes it 5. He's saying that there was 4 cars, and then Van Leuven. Now we have to see if Van Leuven messed up. But at the end of the day, there should have been 5 cars that he saw, not 4. And I believe that he is in his head envisioning. Obviously, he saw the house over and over and over, and that's why he's talking about the SUV that was sticking out. Now, hang on. Right here, the girls did not pay. The girls did not pay, so he could not prove that they paid. Okay. In this interview, he was asked, Gower said he did not go back to the girls' residence that night. When asked to provide an alibi, Gower stated that he was home at the time of the homicides. Now, that is insane to say. That should put, if you are a cop and somebody says that to you, you should be saying to yourself, wait, unless we told you, now Van Leuven is notorious for this. He'll say, where were you between such and such time? Hey, we got to do this to everybody. We got to ask everybody. Except when he was talking to Jennifer Drake, never said shit like that to her. Hey, this is just something that we have to ask everybody. Where were you around? And when he asked Dan Moore this, Van Leuven asked Dan Moore this, he asked where he was at 7 p.m. Well, why are you asking Dan Moore where he's at 7 when Dr. Drake was killed at 7:26, according to Van Leuven? So here, I believe that Van Leuven asked him where he was. We're about to find out what time frame he asked Gower. It's going to be very interesting because the way that he's writing up this report, it's like Eric Gower saying, "What? I have an alibi." Yeah, because at the time of the murders, and you shouldn't even know you shouldn't even know when the murders happened, because how would I know when they were killed? 911 wasn't called until noon. Take a look at this, and he says he was at home at the time of the homicides. At home, you guys. He just told them that he was literally giving rides between 3 and 4 a.m. is when he was done. That's during the time of the murders. Why would he think that the murders happened after 4? Nobody in America thought that. Why would this man think that the murders happened after 4? He must be talking to people. He must know about the text messages that Bethany and Dylan had. He must know about the 4:20, 4:30 time frame. How? I'm just saying, if you're listening to the news, it was all like being told to us that between 3 and 4. Honestly, it was like 3. But then it got to like the whole 3 and 4. He's over here like, I was at home, and guess what I can also provide? This is when you know that you're rolling with a cop in a way. Eric Gower is already one step ahead, because this is something that I would do, and not that I'm a cop, but I know that what I would need. If I am going to prove my alibi, he's like, I can give you surveillance cameras, not of my house, but of the people that live next to me. They have cameras. and my car's on the camera so you could see what time I came home, and that my car was there the whole night once I got home. Wow. Like, how do you know that the people's around you, that their cameras were even working that night, that they didn't have a glitch? Wow, what a bold statement, right? He's saying that Gower said that he could support him being home at the time of the homicides by providing security camera footage from around his house, not his own, but around his house, showing his vehicles, plural, his vehicles parked there and what time he got home. I asked him to provide a copy of this footage to the Moscow Police Department, and he said he would. No, normally what you do is you go follow up with the neighbors and you go get that shit yourself. Boom. I was later advised, Van Leuven says, that he had brought a copy of the footage into the police department and turned it over to them. I said, when? Lazy ass Van Loof. He's such a loafer. Van Leuven is a loafer, man. This dude, please. This guy is a whole ass clown. Whole ass clown. And I'm here for it. Because I'm going to show you guys just like how he fucked up the Dr. Moore case. This man royally fucked up every interview that he ever touched. Promise. Guaranteed. So I wanted to bring that up again. But this interview, look at. Like that? This interview right here, just one page and then a little half of a page here. Guess how long this was? 1 hour and 47 minutes. That's what we're going to get. A 1 hour and 47 minute interview. He was able to write up in a report that consisted of legit one page and like, look at 1/3 of a page. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Now, what I went and did for us, the first thing I want to show us. Okay. Jacob Tisdall. This is November 15th, the day after Eric Gower talked on the 14th to Blaker. He wanted to tell us that for whatever reason he wants to lie, because we can prove that the plainclothes officers never make any loops, because guess what we did? After the live today, Mark's on the phone with me. We go over the 3 timestamps of when a car comes in and just poof, the lights go out. I'm going to show you guys when the cars were making the loops, every time that the car would loop around the Queen Road, guess what? If you were to shut your lights off, you're still going to hear that clankety clank like this. When the vehicle goes around the loop, it does the clank. So guess what? Even if the undercovers would have shut their lights off, we're still going to hear the clankety clank as it goes up and around the back end of Queen. So the question now needs to be asked is, why in the world would Jacob Tisdall write up a report and say that they patrolled that back area and they went around and made the same loop multiple times, at least three, when we can legit say that they never did it after 12 o'clock? Never. Unless they want to take ownership of the vehicle one, the suspect vehicle one. Impossible. We don't have any cars coming and leaving. It's 1,000% impossible. We also looked at every time that these vehicles came in and that they were unaccounted for as leaving. We're going to get to the good one here, which is at 3:53. 3:53. There's a vehicle that just leaves out. It never comes in. There's a vehicle that leaves out, and this is the vehicle that so there's two different vehicles while Molly's there. So at 3:46 when Molly gets there. All right. You guys are going to love this. Let me think the best way to explain this. Okay. So Molly at 3:46 is pulling in. All right. We have confirmed that Molly and what she told the police, what she did when she pulled in, none of it matches up at all with the actual lighting that's going on and where Molly's pulling up and parking. To be specific, Molly drives and is seen on the camera at 3:46 and 9 seconds. Molly then stops in front of the house, still being parallel with Taylor, and she just pulls up at 3:46 and 25 seconds. So she only just pulls right up in front. She doesn't like pull into the driveway or anything like that. You actually can see, and this is our proof that we believe the best evidence that in this car that Molly says she's in, there are two people in this car. And the best evidence that supports that is the foot on the brake after Molly car door closes. And to be specific, you can go check it out yourself at what timestamp do we have here? 3:46 and 25 seconds. It's with this brake light. The door light closes, or the door closes. And then at 3:46 and 40 seconds, she then makes a right into the alley. And she doesn't go up into the back. She just makes a right. So it's like this. You pull up to the house at 112, and you're still like parallel, straight on. And you just pull up, stop. She's there for like 26 seconds. Then somebody goes and makes then you hear the door close. Then you see the vehicle lets off the brake and just pulls a little to the right and up, that it's about to go into the alley, but it just stops. And you're able to be seen the brake light, the third part of the light. And then that vehicle stays there for 2 minutes exactly. So that takes you from 3:46 and 40 seconds, add 2 minutes, and now you're at 3:48 and 40 seconds. This is when Molly is claiming that she's fucking around in the dumpsters over in that area. Okay? None of it's true. None of it's true. So we have the undercovers that are lying. We have Molly lying. We have Eric Gower lying. And all three of those people I'm putting in the same boat because of doing the old school. When you get in trouble and you want to get out of trouble, you start doing controlled buys. And this undercover task force, this plainclothes people, normally what you have is you have two people from each agency. So if you had two people from Moscow Police Department, you had two people from the Sheriff's Department, you had two people from Coeur d'Alene, you had two people potentially from WSU. But that's what would make like a task force, is when you're working together with other agencies. And so you're making a task force because of something that you're working on. And normally it's local FBI that's involved in stuff like that. Especially in that area, you're talking about crossing state lines. So I could definitely see that the FBI would be involved, the locals. So that's where your Ed Jacobson of the worlds come in. I call them low-level FBIers, the locals. Now, here we have at 3:46, it goes to 48. Okay. Then what happens here at 3:50 and at 3:51, we have the clad in black from Linda Lane. You see a guy walking clad in black, and this is who they thought they were going to label as being Jack Showalter. Okay. They used that video to get a search warrant on the 15th for Showalter's place. So this was written on the 15th. Okay. And that means that we already know that they scoured through Linda Lane on the 15th. And at 3:50, they have this clad in black, that figure that you see walking, right? Well, guess what? So let me get this straight. We have the undercover Tisdall here that wants to go out on a limb and say that upon reviewing my radio history, I contacted 3 individuals at Banfield at about 2:55. To the best of my recollection, this was after exiting King Street, after seeing the individuals at 1122 King Street. Well, guess what, guys? Fuck your recollection. When you see language like this, that's when you should always know to sniff it out. To the best of my recollection. Well, your recollection ain't shit. We have the cameras. You didn't do it. You never did that. Okay, we do not have a vehicle leaving up out of there unless you want to put yourself in a motherfucking van, which enter in the van. Sure as shit, bring it in. You had to have gotten out of a vehicle to then be in a van for a little bit that drove around to that got out of there at 2:29 after a vehicle that came in at 2:26 that poof disappears on the left. Regardless, I don't give a fuck. You were definitely not in that fusion driving around and making those loops and doing what you said, which means that none of this shit you saw. Look at this. Look at this complete and utter lie. This just never happened. This never happened. During the detail, Officer Rosendahl and I made several patrols through the area of King Street and Queen Road. During each patrol of the area, we traveled on the north side up 500 Queen, then headed around east, then we wrapped around the building, and then headed south on the east side, then went west down that little alley, and then we traveled out north on the west side, turned west onto the Queen Road, and proceeded to King Street. This never happened. Never happened. We have the video. So then you have to ask yourself, why in the world would you then come with this paragraph? Wait till you see this. This paragraph. During one of the patrols, during one of them in this area, while approaching the southwest corner of 500 Queen Road, which means when you're in the back, I recall seeing a darker colored vehicle with taillights on. This vehicle was parked facing south. Well, if you're facing south, that means you're facing this is Taylor. When they pull in and go like this, as they say, and come wrapping around here, so then here's that side street. Because the house is right up against this. You can go like that. When you're coming back around here, you're trying to say that you see a vehicle back off in this area, okay? Where behind the house is. Well, if you're trying to say that you saw a vehicle facing south, that would mean its headlights facing south. Unless this motherfucker does not know what he's talking about. Headlights facing south is this way. Okay? On the south side of the parking lot. Towards the west end, which is like I said, back along this area. But the way that he talks about the way that he's going around the building here, while approaching the southwest corner of 500 Road. So he's saying as they're approaching this is he's considering the southwest corner of the road before he goes down here. He's talking about seeing a dark vehicle, and its headlights had to be facing this way. Unless for God knows whatever reason he wants to say, is that the car was backed in and the headlights are facing this way. And that would mean that your car is backed in and it's behind the house there and it's backed in. And then the headlights would be facing still south, but that would mean that your car is backed in with then the tail lights facing where like the little wooded areas before you can like walk down into the back of the house. And I'm over here like, why the fuck is this motherfucker make? I mean, this is some he wants to be so descriptive about this, but he never did this. He never made these movements. And if he did, he wasn't in the Ford Fusion. You understand? This is a very descriptive thing that you want to say that you did. Okay? And that you remember seeing this vehicle. And that you were not on foot, you were in a vehicle. How do we know that? We'll continue to read. Right here. And there has to be a reason for this. It's because there was multiple cars that were undercover cars. There was a short section of the parking lot which extended to the west of 500 Queen Road, south of 1122 King Street, which was where the vehicle was. And that's what I'm saying, back in this back area. And so how I see it is that the vehicle was actually backed in with the headlights then facing south. That's what I think. Each time we patrolled this area, what does that say? I drove the same route. Lies. During the patrol, which the best of my recollection, again, how many times does he need to say this? Well, because none of it's true. Which the best of my recollection was between 2 and 3. 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning on November 13th. As we traveled north on the west side of the apartment complex, I saw several individuals. So as we traveled north, that means coming down the alley. I drove the same route. On the final loop, swoop, and pull. As we traveled north on the west side of the apartment complex, I saw several individuals approaching the residence at 1122 King Street. Now we're going to talk about when this could possibly be. Well, guess what? It cannot be Bethany by, Dylan by, and then you have your option is to truly think and say here that he saw this, and he thinks potentially there was 3 people, but he couldn't be for sure, couldn't be certain. And I have to call bullshit that it would be Kaylee and Maddie, because Kaylee and Maddie were dropped off in the driveway. Okay, in the driveway. Kaylee and Maddie were dropped off in the driveway. And so check this out. In order to see Kaylee and Maddie and making that trip, which we know it did not happen, right? You would have to be then driving down and leaving, right? Basically before Eric Gower is, going to be backing up and then leaving, and you guys would be driving out in tandem. So if it wasn't Bethany, Dylan, Kaylee, or Maddie, who did they see and when did this occur? It wasn't Dylan and that other chick. Okay. How do we know this? You guys, first of all, they never made any loops like this. But on what possible occasion could this have even been on, even if let's say that you were back there on foot and you want to talk about what you saw? Okay. So ready for this part? Now we're going to really blow it the fuck up. So you're lying about all of this, but yet you have this intel. You're lying about how you possibly know any of this, but you want to say, hey, you saw girls come home, but my view was kind of being obstructed, but we're there just to check, and this is what he wants to say. He wants to, during this detail, I was looking for alcoholic beverages, open alcoholic containers, and individuals who appeared to be intoxicated. How about, why wouldn't you start any of this report off by saying, how do you even know what house was 1122 King Road? Nobody knew that address. Why aren't you clarifying the fact that there was a bunch of houses back there, and you didn't even know which one was 1122 King Road? That's how it would normally present itself. And you would just see kids walking all over all the time. Like, how the fuck can you really keep, like, this is ridiculous. I recalled my view of the individuals being obstructed by vehicles and brush on the east side of the parking lot, the corner of the lot. As I turned onto Queen Road and traveled west, this would be to leave, I continued to view the individuals. Look at this fucking lie, man. As I turned onto Queen Road and traveled west, I continued. And then I said to myself, oh, wait, holy shit. I said, oh my God. I said, oh, daddy. I said, come to Mama Bear. You, that 353 car, you son of a bitch. You came in there at you either came in there at 132 and 8 seconds, 154 and 13 seconds, or 226 and 6 seconds. And I can eliminate some of these because of what the fuck y'all were doing. And holy shit, I said, you're the 353 car. You're the 353 car, which means what people did you see truly going into the home at 353? Because you couldn't, it is impossible for you to be anybody else, because guess what? There's no car that's leaving. So what I'm able to do as a defense attorney is I'm able to put you in the 353 car. And that's who Molly said had the spiky hair. Right? Also, looks like you saw Molly and some motherfucking friends. Or where's Xana and Ethan? And all you wanted to do is, hey, change one of those heads that you saw to being blonde. This is absolutely ridiculous. So, and let me tell you something. The 353 car, well, we have a gentleman that's walking and clad in black at 350. We have a vehicle that Mark swears up and down, and I trust him on this one. He said, Lana, you know that loud vehicle that comes back and parks there at 2:48 and 10 seconds? The car enters 112 Cam, passes 112 King Road, and is very noisy and parks on Queen parking, and you can actually see the driver gets out and you can hear the door and everything like that. He's like, that's exactly right there. It's either that car or the car next to it. I'm telling you, I think that's where the clad in black dude gets out of or is coming from. And I said, well, also there's a cut through back there, so that you can actually come from over there being on like Taylor. Okay. And this person, think about this for a second. We have Molly on foot walking around at 351. We have, and she's looking for somebody, because we're going to get into good old Molly and what her app was all about. We have Molly on foot, 351 walking around. We have the clad in black person at 350, okay, walking around. And then we're going to have a vehicle start up and leave. And guess where that vehicle comes from? The 353 car. Everybody's totally misinformed here. That 353 car, when it leaves, it is not seen on the 1330 or the 1320 cams. It can't be seen on the one because if there's no, hey, it wasn't working. Remember? I said, holy shit, this whole time we've been trying to figure out why they had to basically take out the Linda Lane camera, the one that faced Taylor. I was like, why no camera takes 40 minutes to read? This is all craziness. But there's a reason that camera couldn't be in play. Well, then thank God for the other camera that catches the clad in black person at 350 walking up. Again, who they tried to say was Jack Showalter to get a search warrant for Jack Showalter's place, which it was not him. Dylan Mortensen saves a number at 351. So this is all the things that are happening here. Clad in black, 350, seen walking. Molly's walking at 351. Dylan saves a contact at 351. The 353 car starts up at actually 352 and some crazy timestamp here. And we looked 2 minutes before it, 253, and we looked 2 minutes after it to see when the car started up, where these lights were illuminating. Okay. And sure as shit, that car is facing. So right in here on the left-hand side, 3 vehicles just disappear. Poof, right here. Lights go off. The cars never make any loop around or anything. And that would be at 150, 132, 154, and 226. They just poof. It's like their lights go off. Or all of them were able to find a parking spot on the left-hand side of, how the cars are parked up on that left-hand side when you're driving along and the apartments are right here on your right. After you pass, here's the alley, and so here's the house. It's like all 3 of those vehicles that I just told you guys about, at all 3 of those timestamps, they disappear in the same location, or they shut off their lights. But what's crazy is that this 353 car, it doesn't come from over here and back out because we can't see anything on Linda Lane. The car is already facing this way when it goes to leave at 353. And it's going to come down. And now this is what's interesting, is where Molly says that she is when she says that she saw this car. Remember, Molly's comes down and walks down here, gets seen on the camera, then walks back up. All right. And that means that when Molly was walking back up, the only way that she could see this person never came down this way. This vehicle was facing this way, and the way that it traveled down, because we're using over here, we're using the windows of that house, which tell us that this vehicle was coming down from this way because it was parked up over, but it wasn't facing this way because of the lights, because you can't see any lights that come on over here from the Linda Lane cameras. The lights are over here, and that means that this vehicle at 353, and when it leaves and it goes like that. Now, you have the 350 guy walking, you have Molly at 351 walking, and you have Dylan Mortensen saving a number. All of that happening. Then, if that's just not enough, then this is what Molly does. Molly, there's a 16-second window Remember when Payne says that, so when Molly pulls just past this and just hangs out right here for 2 minutes, the vehicle then comes back and it's then back here. And that's when she says, I got out of the vehicle and then I walked and then I come down here. And this is when she was saying that she was making her walking trip. Okay. Well, Molly, without a doubt, remember when you hear people talking when Molly arrives? I'm like, man, when Molly arrives, it's like the party arrived. Go listen to it. When Molly arrives, 1,000, you can hear people, they're having conversations. So either Molly's talking to herself, okay, or Molly's having a conversation with somebody. And it's because I believe that Molly was, whoever came and arrived in that vehicle, there was 2 people in the car, hands down. 132, yeah. And 154, lights are not seen in trees on 133, therefore parked elsewhere. But parked elsewhere, which could be potentially that they parked in the alley for those cars. Ready? Okay. We tested something today. When the FBI would be so interested in to know, hey, we want to know who these 2 phones are. And one of them ends up being Molly. Okay. And so much so that they put a pen trap and trace on her phone for until I think it was like, I don't know, like 11:30. Okay. Her phone was being traced for like 7 days. Right. I said, that doesn't make any sense. As soon as you would have found out that Molly was just the DoorDash driver, like there's no reason to, like, oh, you talked to her, she's the DoorDash driver. Oh, okay. Right? Like it should just be like that simple. Truly, it should be that simple. Unless her phone is doing something else. Okay, ready for this? Now, what I mean by that is when Payne said that her phone stayed in the area for a significant amount of time when it came there, I said, that can only mean one thing. Being in the area for 15 minutes and it being and leaving out, if it would have left out at 4:01. Okay, think about this. You know right off the rip, based off of what the roommates are saying, that nothing happened in that house until after that. Think about it. So in 15 minutes is not that long. It truly is not that long. Especially if it's all happening before, and then you're seeing a vehicle come in and you see the vehicle leave, right? Unless her phone isn't moving with the vehicle when it's leaving. Unless her phone actually stays in the area until, let's say, I don't know, 4:40, 4:23. So then I thought about it and I said, well, Molly told the world that she worked for 18 hours. Holy shit, right? Long time. Guess who else worked like 18 hours that day? Eric Gower. Eric Gower works at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning on the 12th. He works till about he works till 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday night. Then he gets up around 10 or 11, starts to work, but then he picks up steady at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and he works all the way from 3 or 4 in the afternoon all the way until 3 or 4 at night, in the morning. Well, whatever. I'm like, damn, wow, how do these people stay awake? Whoo, wow. Adderall for days. Get it. Ready? Well, I said, what if Molly's app is being used in a way that I receive the DoorDash and I say, hey, okay, I just got a DoorDash. Go pick up from the Jack in the Box. I'll screenshot you the order and go pick it up, or wherever she's being able to tell people to go and grab stuff. And so I just wanted to see if this was at all possible. And so therefore somebody that would be like over in let's say in Washington. Okay, yep, I'll grab that. All right. And then come meet me wherever I'm at and you can like do some meth with us. But here, pick up this food on your way. I said, would this even be possible? She gets the order sent to her. She just tells somebody, here, go pick up the food at this place, right? And all she has to do is give the name of the order that the person's picking up. Hey, I'm here to pick up this. Like, what all do you have to show Jack in the Box to get that food? Could she be just chilling and having a gopher run and pick stuff up and doing that multiple times throughout the day? And then, because other people couldn't, like, let's say, here, I'll just do it. Tell me where to go. Use your app, and then you just give me the money. For numerous reasons. But basically, the issue would be is that would alert the police in a way when you're doing a case like this. That's what wouldn't make sense then. Is if how can you say that you're door dashing and yet your phone never leaves the area? Or when you say that you leave and you're in that vehicle, we have your phone still in the area. That is the type of thing that would get the attention of the FBI to the point that they are fucking like they're interested in you. They didn't pen, trap, and trace fucking Jack D. They didn't pen, trap, and trace. I mean, not that we know of any of these other people. The DoorDash knows your location, so you would have to be at the restaurant and the drop off to complete the order. I don't know if you do. Not if you're able to. Not if somebody can just tell you that and you click the button after you get it. That's what we tested. We tested that. But at the end of the day, remember, Molly says that she sped away. That she was just such in a hurry and that she just got the fuck out of there. Remember that? Yeah. No. Anyways, this all lies. But it's very descriptive lies. Descriptive enough that I don't know. Now, here on November 13th, he returned home at about 4:30 a.m. after playing video games at his fraternity home, which he identified as blank. This is somebody else, and this is here. This is the guy that we're gonna tell the world who that 4:30 car that's arriving. Well, this is a complete lie. You're gonna sit here and tell me that you never interview anybody until February of 2023 to figure out who the 4:30 car is? You guys, you have no idea. Dylan tells you that she saw a vehicle. You don't know what time the murders are. You don't want to figure out who is the 4:30 car that's coming in and arriving at 4:29 coming up in there. You got to be kidding me. Yeah, no. Well, this guy just says on November 13th, he returned home at about 4:30. How do we know that? Well, we're about to find out what that interview says. He also says when he got home, he waited about 20 minutes before he went and took his dog for a walk. Who the fuck would do that? When you get home, okay, I'm going to take my dog out right away. I'm going to wait 20 minutes at 4:30 in the morning and wait till 4:50 to take my dog for a walk. Pretty whacked out shit, right? This audio recording of this tip was put into evidence on 2/7. Right there. DVD right there. Then I wanted to look at some more things, which was let's go back to right here on November 21st. So tip number 8011. See that? I'm able to time up that by November 21st, they're in the 800s, at least for the tips. Okay. And now, why is this important? Well, somebody wanted to call on the tip line and let us know that this person telephoned in. Okay. It was a member of this fraternity saying that he had phone contact with Xana and then saw Maddie and Kaylee at the corner club prior to the homicides. I telephoned, meaning the guy that's the interviewer, blank, and arranged to interview him at the Moscow Police Department. This is somebody that also stuck around the area. Detective Alderson, complete fucking moron. Okay. Basically interviewed Eldora Gatchel and fuck the dog on that. But so Detective Alderson and I, Gary Tolson, look at these idiots. Here they are. They interviewed at Moscow Police Department in the lobby interview room. This person was in his 5th year of college. 5th year. On Saturday night, he said he attended a party at the White's apartment with his girlfriend and her girlfriend, blank. They had spoken to Xana by telephone earlier and arranged to meet her at the White Apartments. After the party at the White Apartments, they had gone to the bar Mingles, which blank described as south of the corner club. Blah, 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 blah. They met blank's best friend, blah, blah, blah. Blank said that blank drove he and his girlfriend home and he spent the night with blank. The reason this is important is depending on where that girl lived, okay, then this is a vehicle that we're interested in. What time did he come home? What time did he drive his girlfriend? Are you talking about, is this back in the King Road area? So this got put on the map as somebody that we are interested in seeing car-wise. Right here, so after the interview with this person, the detective Alderson and I then telephoned the girlfriend. And she was with that evening. So to confirm it the evening, she told us that blank blank was the roommate, blank blank that evening. When then they telephoned the friend of the friend to get her version of the night's events. This girl told us the same events, but that, oh wait, we had went to John Alley's, but guess what? It was packed. So then we left and gone to Mingles. This person confirmed that blank was a roommate of blank. She said she drove back to, she drove back to blank and blank's apartment. She also remembered texting blank at around 2:07 to check on her. Again, this was important enough because this all began with, hey, we're calling in a tip because it's about not us and what the fuck we did. It's about us seeing certain people, right? So this all started because, hey, we're calling in a tip because this dude had contact with Xana and then saw Maddie and Keely at the corner club bar. And then somebody was texting somebody at 2:07. And the only person I can think why this would be important at all is, who are you checking in on? Anyways, next, I want to point out that Dawn Daniels, during the search warrant at the office, at about 8:16, Dawn Daniels executed the warrant of Kohlberger's office. The office was empty. That's absolutely fucking false. At about 8:18, I started a pre-search video of the office. We're attempting to get that right now. Once completed, ISP forensic Tara Martinez photographed the office. Remember, there was a bunch of shit in the garbage can. No belongings of Kohlberger were identified. No items were seized for evidentiary purposes. So those books that were in that office, that were literally like duplicate copies of what was found in his apartment, those books that were in that office didn't belong to him, so they belonged to somebody else, and they just left them there. But nobody talks about that damn cabinet, except for here's the proof that what's her ass, this is the forensic person that made a bunch of notes here, Martinez. They were able to do all of this between 8:16 and 8:52. The office was secure and the scene was cleared. There's no mention about the fact that there was a filing cabinet and there was keys and who opened it and what was in there. Let's just forget about anything that has to do with that, right? Next. Okay. We went back to something. Again, this is me going back over stuff that we didn't know that was important. Okay. But now we believe that it could be. So ready for this? Okay. A guidance counselor was interviewed. A guidance counselor. And this guidance counselor was interviewed. And in this report here, let's take a look. When they say I contacted blank via phone, this was the following summary. He saw a student with a gash between his eyebrows in the College of Education building on the 3rd floor. He could not remember the date, so it was called in as a tip. Okay, tip numbers 196 and 648. And Idaho State Police Detective Joe Lake, okay, these are both phone tips called in by blank and blank at the blank. Ridiculous. But he saw a student with a gash between his eyebrows in the College of Education building on the 3rd floor. He could not remember the date, but believed it was the 16th of November. The student was a white male, approximately 6 feet tall and 190 pounds. That's skinny, white. His head was shaved on the sides with bushy hair on top, and he was wearing a red sweater. He requested the camera footage at this time and location not be overwritten. This is a person that literally works there. Now, Ethan Chapin was a sophomore. He was Chapin's blank throughout his enrollment. Again, guidance counselor. His last contact with this, blah, blah, great, awesome. He is blanks and had seen her in person approximately 3 to 4 times. Again, this is probably one of the surviving roommates. He is blanks and had seen her in person approximately 3 times. He last contacted her was over the summer regarding her classes and schedule. She had come in from the College of Natural Resources and Wilderness and Fishing majors. Again, he was previously blanks in his graduate program. Still reaches out to blank for questions. I want to know if that has anything to do with Hunter Johnson. He is blanks. His last contact with her before the incident was an in-person meeting on November 2nd regarding courses. He called blank after the incident. Blank told him blank went into the crime scene house and told her not to go in. Then who do we think this is? Ding, 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 right? Emily. Blank and blank reached out to blank via text message on November 14th for guidance. Text message. You are texting with your guidance counselor? Or is this like a sorority president? I mean, who is this? It's a guidance counselor, guys. But text it out on the 14th for guidance on what to say. On what to say to the teachers. Because guess what? They said that they were traumatized and may not be returning for classes. Blank said that she was staying with blank at his family's home. At his family's home. Records of the okay, so let me go here. On December 6th, here we go. Ethan's tutor, yep, Ethan did. Somebody was helping Ethan, but this seems more to me like a guidance counselor. Somebody that's like in the mentoring program with all the students. Let's talk about this. December 6th. The same day, or the days leading up to, Jack Showalter had an interview on December 6th at his home with his parents present. But the days leading up, they were running surveillance down in the area. But check this out. Okay. Ready for this? Oh, on December 6th, Moscow Police Department Sergeant Dustin Blaker, he viewed the camera footage recorded on November 16th on the third floor of the College of Education building in search of the individual that this person described. Guess what? Sergeant Blaker was not able to locate the individual. I bet you he looked real hard. Dustin Blaker just coming up there. Dustin Blaker, why was he put on doing that? He's in freaking on the 16th, just on November 16th. You know what? Ridiculous, but just had to show you that. Now, I'm going to scroll down here. They were on the hunt because Jack Showalter said that he went to the McDonald's and went and got beer on one of the days between, he thought, like 4 and 6. And there was like text messages that they found in his phone, okay, with another person. These dudes were in literally a tiz-whiz over Jack Showalter in this kid's text messages, and that saying that, dude, this motherfucker never went to McDonald's. He never went and got that beer at this. We checked the cameras. He wasn't at that place. Okay. They're going crazy over about where Jack Showalter was and what he was doing at 4:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. On December 3rd, 2022, ISP Detective Hugh Powell and O'Hara went to the gas station to collect surveillance footage requested in tip 5,684. What? Wait, what? Like, somebody called, they're saying that somebody called this in. Detective Powell and I identified ourselves and explained to the assistant manager that we needed to collect surveillance footage. This person showed us the camera's views and that they had in their store, and then we determined what was the most useful cameras to identify persons and vehicles, and asked Blank, this manager, to download copies of the recorded footage from those cameras on November 12, 2022 from 4 to 6 p.m. I left a thumb drive, and I would return later to get it. Now, on November 18th, 2022, now, back on the 18th, this person, this name right here, date of birth with 2001, was interviewed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, O'Neill, and FBI Special Agent Christopher Sheehan. The following is an excerpt from that interview, from the written report by O'Neill, saying that at 4:30, Blank got a text from Blank that Blank had gone home to take ibuprofen. So this is the person that Showalter was hanging out with. That Showalter had taken ibuprofen and stretched his back because his back was bothering him. Showalter has been hunting recently and his back was sore from carrying his gear. Shortly thereafter, Blank left the Blank and met up with Blank. They went to McDonald's and the Blank near Blank where they bought a case of beer. Blank has been identified as this person. So, again, these are the two people, Showalter and another kid. The way that they tracked down to literally see if this was accurate for this, where they went to eat and where they got beer, what these people did and went through to corroborate this. Okay, think about this. Eric Gower doesn't tell you that Dylan motherfucking Mortensen texted you and that you texted her back. And Eric Gower tells you that he never returns back to that area. And you know that he does on 3 occasions. You have footage and you can track every car that's coming in and out of that area that night. And so here, look at what they did for this. Now, this is wild to me. Detective Powell received a camera angle, register 1, that shows both registers. From this camera, each patron and what they are purchasing is clearly visible. It did not appear that blank or blank purchased beer or even entered the store from 4 to 6. On December 4th, 2022, Detective Powell and I returned to this place and requested further footage from the camera and a few additional cameras. We requested, now December 4th, we requested copies of the recorded footage on November 12th. From now, we're going to go from 12, like noon to 4, and then 6 to 10, because they already have the 4 to 6 p.m. So basically now they're going noon to 10. A previous request had been made for recorded footage from November 12th from at 10 p.m. to November 13th at 6 a.m. So then what they're letting us know is that somebody else was here and that they already made this request when they put their request in on December 4th. So these idiots, okay, don't even know who's going and doing what, when, where. Oh, somebody already requested this? What? They're like, well, I left the blank with 2 USB thumb drives. Detective Powell and I returned later that day to collect the footage recorded on November 12th from 12 p.m. to 4 and then 6 to 10. Wait, but I thought somebody else... The other footage was not yet ready to be picked up. What other footage? That's all you requested. Am I missing something? Are you talking about the other request that was put in all the way until 6 a.m. on November 13th? Right? Does anybody ever go back and get that? Did you purposely not go and get that? Did you purposely fuck that all up? On December 5th, 2022, I returned to the blank to collect the footage recorded on November 12th from 10 p.m. to November 13th, 6 a.m. Blank turned the USB drive over to me. Okay. So if you went and got all this, who first asked for it and then never went and got it? Was that be Leslie Lehman? Probably. Now, they're like, I reviewed the footage captured on November 12th, did the whole thing again, went through all of this. Guess what? After reviewing all of this footage, it did not appear that either one of them purchased beer or even entered the store from 12 noon to 10. Maybe they just got the wrong gas station. Wouldn't you just ask them, hey, do you have a receipt? Because everyone pays with cards. Hey, do you have a receipt of buying that beer? You guys know how quick and easy that would have been? Hey, do you have a receipt of that? Do these guys not know? I mean, fuck. Ready? Oh, well, on December 5th, right here, I placed each of the thumb drives into evidence envelopes and completed the chain of custody up to when I turned them over to Moscow Police Department Detective Mowry. That's funny, Detective Mowry. I thought you were in charge of... I thought people didn't give you those camera footage. So they're saying, hey, our chain of custody ends here. I gave it to this homie right there. And that's why Ann Taylor was always asking for that shit. Now, here's the McDonald's footage. That was the gas station. Here's the McDonald's footage that they go crazy about. Same thing they put in. That was the... and guess what? Nothing's on there. So after they do all this and they have nothing on there, then they return to Showalter on December 6th to interview him. And that's when they ask him for a latent print. And then it's like, poof. Now, for your bombshells. On December 14th, this person was interviewed right here by FBI Special Agent Travis Shirley, Ryan O'Hara. They conducted an interview with this person. The interview was conducted at the Moscow Police Department. Okay, so Shirley is in town, and it's on December 14th. This person had been reported through multiple calls and emails to the FBI tip line. The tip suggested the following: that this person owned a 2011 to 2019 redacted, that he knew the victims, he deactivated his social media accounts following the release of the description of the vehicle. He described himself as a clinical sociopath in a TikTok video. He was at the corner club the night before the homicides. He was walking in the area of 1122 King Street. Here you go. We have the video. If somebody was able to call this person in and saying that they either saw this person walking or they had the video, because they were looking at the video, because these students were all saying, okay, this is so-and-so, and this is so-and-so, and this is this person, and this is this person. All of these students were on fire all over 1112 cam. All of them had that cam. Don't think for a second nobody had access to that camera. They all did. Hands down, they were all saying, hey, who's this? Who's this? Wouldn't you be doing the same thing? Hell yeah, they would. And hell yeah, you would. And that's exactly what they were doing. Now, this was after, when it got presented to all of us, hey, anybody with information on, this car, right? The following is a summary, just a summary of the interview. Listen to the audio for full details. Oh, we're going to get that. He works at blank in Moscow. He lives at blank in Moscow. His phone number is blank. He belongs to blank fraternity and pledge in the spring of 2020. Usually people pledge in the fall. He was in a class with Xana and Maddie. He did not know Xana and Maddie personally. He followed Maddie on Instagram, was Facebook friends with her because that's how they communicated in the class. What? You guys, what? Guys, come on now. Okay? There ain't no teacher that's going to tell y'all to communicate in 2022 by Facebook Messenger. Sorry. Just don't buy it. But whatever. No teacher would ever put themselves in a situation. I'm just being honest. If you're a teacher at a university, you're doing everything in a way that is, you don't want any liability. Okay. Like, you're not doing that. I'm sorry. There is no way that that's happening. Email. Okay. Email. That's the way that you would be handling that as a professor. Okay. Now, after that point of, hey, if somebody was to give somebody here, just message me. I'm not going to look at my email like all day, every day. Then that would have happened. But no professor is telling people to communicate on fucking Facebook. Okay. It's not happening. Now, this kid, you tell me what this says. Has been to a blank out of house. Has been to a what? Out of house. Out of house. Near 1122 King Street a handful of times. He was at the corner club the night of November 12th. He arrived there between 7 and 8 p.m. with his roommates. This is his roommate's name. And this name and blank's, I think, and blank's girlfriend. So like his roommate's girlfriend. And then it would be like, that's his roommate's girlfriend's name. They had walked to the corner club from their house. So this is somebody, okay, the person that's being interviewed here. This is somebody who lives in an off-campus house within walking distance, okay, of the corner club, and he has a roommate that has a girlfriend that lives with them. That's how I understand this. Okay. This is not Jack Showalter. It's not who this is at all. Now, they stayed there until about midnight, until Blank's friend Blank picked him up and took him to his apartment at the Blank where he spent the night. Okay. So remember now the guy that said that he got a ride when I've gone through this, the guy that said that he got a ride. Because this is what doesn't make sense. If you're there with all those people, why are you getting a ride? And now look at the wording. Ready? Look at this wording. This doesn't make any sense. He arrived there between 7 and 8, meaning the corner club, with his roommate, and that's his roommate's name. And then they're going with his first name, and they're putting apostrophe S, like, and this dude's girlfriend, and then that's the girlfriend's name of his roommate. They had walked to the corner club from their house. They stayed there until about midnight, until Blank's friend, meaning the person he's interviewing's friend Blank, picked him up and took him to his apartment. I'm like, are these guys just that bad? You call it a house that he lives at with people. Now he's going to some apartment, but I thought he lived at a house. Like, and his apartment is at the Blank where he spent the night. Ready? He did not go to the grub truck after he left the corner club. Well, since this is a tip, somebody's calling this in, had been reported through multiple calls and emails to the FBI tip line. Everybody was watching the grub truck video, and everybody was trying to identify people there. And so that's what was happening. Okay. And so the reason that this would have been wrote just like this is to say, like, you don't tell somebody in an interview what you did not do. So I believe that the detectives asked him about the grub truck. He did not go to the grub truck after he left the corner club. Now, a Facebook account named this, with approximately 60,000 followers, posted his Instagram account, and people were saying he was involved with the incident. He deactivated his Facebook account and made his social media accounts private because they were bringing unfavorable attention to include death threats. So now think about your Facebook groups. Now this kid, he owns a Blank. He does not own or have access to a Hyundai Elantra, but I bet you it's really close in what it looks like, okay? The TikTok post about being a clinical sociopath was a joke. He does not believe he should be diagnosed with any sort of mental disorder. This dude agreed to, hey, you can take my DNA. Hey, here's my phone. You can download it. So Shirley, you know, gets a swab, and the interview concluded at 10:01 a.m. I took Blank's phone and the consent form to MPD Detective Lawrence Mowry. Now I go ahead and I looked at December 14th, 2022 to see items that were downloaded and entered into evidence. This isn't there. So then I have to cross-reference with Lawrence Mowry, what he was when he wants to write up a report of what he did on December 14th about receiving. And there is one, and that's the initials. I have an initials CK because I'm trying to figure out who this is. And hang tight. Okay. And guess what? There is audio here. Now, Shirley and I dismissed this dude and have had no further contact with him. Then, the next thing that they do here, they're attempting to identify vehicles. And so how they did this is right next to this was a number 1, and then it had a person's name, first and last name. Number 2, first and last name. Number 3, all of this. And they are an owner of a similar vehicle observed on security camera footage. These people own and are owners of a similar vehicle that was observed on the security camera footage. Now, what they did then is here is number 1. And number 1 is the first person that was out of those 6. So, number 1, on December 14th at about 4:10, I interviewed this person over the phone regarding his vehicle, which was, again, going to either be a Honda Elantra or something very similar. This person and his activity, he wanted to know on November 12th and 13th. And this is what he provided, this dude. This is somebody else now. He had been living at blank in Moscow, Idaho since August 1st, 2022. He was awake playing games on his phone with his headphones in until approximately 2 a.m. He drove the Elantra on Saturday for errands. He didn't go anywhere until he left for work on Monday morning. He never talked to any of the victims. He was currently in Rathdrum, Idaho, and would be returning around January 9th because he's, it's Christmas break. Okay, December 14th here. Next person. On December 16th at about 9:49 a.m., I interviewed now this person over the phone regarding his vehicle. On November 12th and 13th, wanted to know his whereabouts. So he was with his roommate, this name, on November 12th and stayed in and played video games until about 3 a.m. Blank's phone number was blank, his roommate. He was up at 9:30 a.m. on November 13th, but didn't go anywhere that day. He loosely knew Xana and Mogan through his girlfriend, that's her name, who was in the same sorority as them. He was in Boise at the time of the interview and returned after January 8th. Now the third person. On December 16th at 12:55, I interviewed blank, this person, a new person, over the phone regarding his vehicle. He was in quotes. He was until 11 or 12:30 p.m. on November 12th. He was something. He went home and was awake for about an hour and a half before he went to sleep at about 1:30 a.m. He was until 11 or 11:30. He went home and was awake. So this would be before us being able to look at anything on a with any of the camera footage that we have. But yeah, that's all. That's all we got. On December 16th, not like, do you know the victims at all? Like, that's it. Now this person on December 16th, Gideon Roberts and I interviewed now a new person here at the MPD regarding her vehicle. This is a chick. Her vehicle. Okay. And it's very similar, if not an Elantra. Now, pay attention. She parks the Elantra at her boyfriend's. This is her boyfriend's name. And then in parentheses, then it would be her boyfriend's friend's apartment. So she parks the Elantra at her boyfriend's, who his name is right here, this and this, friend's apartment located at blank in Moscow, Idaho. So this chick, she parks her vehicle at her boyfriend's friend's house. She and I'm guessing her boyfriend here, right? Went shopping and he dropped her off at her dorm around 5 p.m. She did not have blank's phone number. Now, at first, that's why I had to fill this in by saying friends. She's not saying that she did not have her boyfriend's phone number. She is saying that she does not have her boyfriend's friend's number. That's why I said does not have her friend, the friend's number. Otherwise, it'd be like, how does she not have her boyfriend's? But it's because she doesn't have her friend's, which I find odd in itself, regardless. D here. Blank lives with 2 other roommates. Blank and blank. Blank went back to his apartment and played board games with his roommates. This is going to mind fuck everybody. Blank had said when they went out to take out the trash. Now, do you remember when they took out the trash at 1112? And they also got into the vehicle and it looked like they were doing laundry and shit. Do you guys remember that? This is going to blow your fucking minds. Because it has to be relevant, okay? This girl said, blank had said when they went out to take out the trash, they heard someone say, "Oh my God, someone's passed out. We got to call someone." What? Now, we're finally, getting stuff. So basically, I'm able to go back through this stuff and say, hey guys, look at what I found. Let me tell you what this means. Let me tell you what I think it means. This is insanity. Okay, so remember, all these tips are coming in. Okay, you guys are going to love this. When you look at Google Map, guess what white vehicle is parked at 1112 where the camera is? None other than a Sonata, a white Elantra. It's like right there. It's parked in that driveway, right? It's like, look at that. Look at that vehicle. Okay. Also, what these cops were doing is when you neighborhood canvass the area, you're looking around to see a vehicle of interest to you. So check this out, okay? What I believe that this is about is this girl is contacted about her vehicle, and she's like, I park my car because I'm at the dorms, but I park my car at my boyfriend's friend's house, okay? And from my understanding here, look at this. Whoever this person is, she and blank went shopping. I'm thinking it's her boyfriend, and he dropped her off at her dorm around 5. Well, if he dropped her off, that means he has her car, right? And you're specifically asking about what they did on the 12th and the 13th. So that would be on the 12th, right? And so that means he has her car. Now, I believe that this is the people at 1112. Now think about it. That would mean what she's relaying to the officers in this interview is that, hey, this is all I know. Is that, oh my God, my car? Well, yeah. No, it stays at my boyfriend's friend's apartment, which is located She and her boyfriend went shopping and he dropped her off at the dorms around 5 p.m. It's basically like, she's like saying, so I wasn't with my car that night. She did not have blank's phone number. Now, you cannot seriously tell me that you really think that she doesn't have the boyfriend's phone number. No, I think that she doesn't have the friend's phone number. But anyways, this person lives, and I think she's talking about her boyfriend. Her boyfriend lives with 2 other roommates, blank and blank. Blank went back to his apartment and played board games with his roommates. This is what she was told that her boyfriend went and did that night. Then, this girl, when the guy is writing this name right here, Blank had said when they went out to take out the trash, they heard someone say, so she is giving up a name and it's not hers. She had said, like this person that she's claiming told her this. Blank had said when they went out to take out the trash, they heard someone say, oh my God, someone's passed out. We got to call someone. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, there you go. Like, and then ready for this? Ready for this part? I don't know. Wouldn't there be a lot of follow up to this shit? Look at this. Right after that, there's nothing like, wait, who's this person? Like, look at, they tried to bury this in the mix of all of this. Look at this. Period. Just period. Then we're going on to the next person. Jesus. Remember now, go look at 1122 camera. You see those people that are walking out to take the trash out and put it in the dumpster. Go rewind it and see what time that is. That's when they're saying, yeah, when we took out the trash, we heard someone say, oh my God, someone's passed out. We got to call somebody. You understand what time that is? That ain't at fucking 11:58. Go rewind. Go rewind and tell me what timestamp we see the people getting out of 1118. They get out of that house. It's right next to 1112. And they walk over the dumpster. Okay, because they're throwing their garbage away like normal people would clean up in the morning. Here, I'm throwing out my shit. And the way that I'm understanding this is that either the people at 112 or 118, because it all has to be relevant here. Why would anybody be calling in this tip to ask this girl about what the fuck's going on? And it's this broad here that when she's being asked about her car, she's like, wait a second. No, my car's parked over at my boyfriend's friend's house, and then gives that address. Okay, well, what were you doing? She says, I was dropped off. So that means her boyfriend has the car. Okay, well, who's this boyfriend, right? Now watch what they do. So that's all they say with her, okay? Done with her. Then, now, on December 20th, this would be, this was on December 16th. December 20th now. Like, nothing like getting on it. Not. On December 20th, Jake Schwecke and I interviewed Blank at the Moscow Police Department regarding his vehicle. Not his girlfriend's vehicle. Okay, but here, his vehicle, a Blank, and the activity that he had from November 12th and 13th. He moved to Moscow with his ex-girlfriend about 2.5 years ago. His ex-girlfriend is blank, aka blank, and her phone number is blank. He was a delivery driver for blank. Interesting. Okay. Now D. He is friends with, see this name? AKA this name. See paragraph 4, letter A. So then, here we go. 4, letter A. She parks the vehicle at her boyfriend's, this is his name, friend's apartment located at this. So again, this is what's hilarious is you're calling this kid, which is the friend now of the boyfriend, okay? But you're asking him about his vehicle, okay? The question is are you going to ask about this girl's vehicle? So let's see. So just so I can show you. So 4 days later, they're like, okay, I guess we can get around to calling. Yeah. So he is friends with blank. Okay, just read that. Now, blank lives with this person that they're just who they're interviewing. This guy lives with this person, aka this name. See paragraph 4D, and blank. So 4D, blank lives with two other roommates, blank and blank. So what they're doing here is they're cross-referencing. Okay, the boyfriend's friend. Okay, he lives with this person, aka this, and that person. So the two people that cross. Okay, so when she said this name and this name, that checks out because he's saying that he lives with two people. Now, this dude, he and blank broke up on November 22nd after having been together for 2.5 years. He and blank previously lived with blank first name and last name and blank at blank in Moscow, Idaho. Blank and blank had a falling out that resulted in blank and blank terminating their lease early and moving to blank Moscow, Idaho. At this time, blank, blank, and blank moved to what? Do you guys? So then I'm like, oh my God, now I got to break all this down for us. Ready? Between November 12th, November 13th, and November 22nd, a huge blow up happens. Okay. Resulting in where this girl was leaving her car, that this kid breaks up with his girlfriend, and then they terminate their lease early, as in like before December 20th here. Okay. And move. Okay. And so explaining why they no longer live there, and now we live and now, you know, he lives here. Okay. And I'm over here like, wow. Ready for this? On December 20th, a guy that was an ex-cop calls into the police department, or actually I think just goes there, and says, hey, I heard you guys are looking for this white Elantra car, whatever. Well, what he does is he does stuff at night now. And he's like, when I was driving on Ridge, right there where 1125 camera is, I saw a kid on December 20th, okay, packing up, it looked like his personal belongings into a white sedan, the same that you guys are looking for. He's like, I don't know if it's relevant, but it was about 11, you know, it was like almost midnight. Okay. And so when I saw this and the date that this all is occurring when they're talking, look at this. On December 20th, you see that? In the same area of where that white vehicle, you know, 1125. Anyways, this guy and this guy had a falling out that resulted in blank and blank terminating their lease early and moving out to blank, Moscow, Idaho. At this time, blank and blank moved to Moscow. Then look at this. Period. Like, wait, what? In this, where do we get any information about what this motherfucker did on November 12th and 13th? Where? Where does it tell us what this motherfucker did on November 12th or 13th with his car? where he was, what he was doing. What the fuck is going on? Where does anybody asking if they know the victims? What the hell kind of investigation is this? You're just supposed to be taking out the pertinent information. And look at this is like a couple lines. There's audio of all of this, which we're going to get. What is this? What is this? And it's all buried in this bullshit. And this is exactly how it was in the Dan Moore case. I had to sort through all of this shit. At least in the Dan Moore case, I had names. First and last. Okay? And I was able to, but when they were writing up reports, I knew that these reports had no business being on all of one report with saying miscellaneous. Look at this. Evidence video collection tip interview. That's what this report is titled. And all of this shit just stuffed in a fucking 8-page report. What? You know how many tips came in about that car? You guys typed out six people that you called and asked about the car. Meanwhile, there was thousands of tips about the car all over. These are the 6 they went with. And none of it, what's here? Nothing. This is unbelievable. So here's this 6th person. And on December 21st, 2022, at about 12:55, Jake Schwecke and I interviewed blank at the Moscow Police Department regarding her vehicle, which was a blank Washington registration, and her activity on the 12th and 13th. This chick provided the following information. She lives at blank in Moscow. She lives with blank, AKA. What are these AKAs for? AKA this is blank boyfriend. The fuck? Blank drives a blank. Well, no shit. That's why you're contacting her, right? Blank, though, this other person drives a small silver car, possibly with blank license plates. What? She and blank were on the couch hanging out together and started falling asleep and went to bed around 11 or 11:30 p.m. She took her dog for a walk around 11 a.m. on November 13th, but did not notice anything out of the ordinary. What an amazing interview. What'd you guys learn? What is up? What is up, peeps, over here in my super sats? Douglas, cheers. Thank you so much. Allie Tally. B is for Becca. B, Randy J. Celebrating the new year. Dawn, what is good? Love to Lana, Bella, and everyone in chat. Thank you so much. Allie Tally. Ching. Anyone counted the number of reports actually written up by anywhere close to on the time in this case? No, that's a huge problem. Just zero recollection. Allie Tally. God, I love it. Turpentines and Moonshine. Welcome. New member. Cheers. Keyboard Crime Fighter. Thank you so much. Is that right? This is unbelievable. We'd love to see you cross-examine these fools. Yeah, the only way you can do good cross-examinations is you have to know the material. If you know the material, you can cross-examine anybody. Just think about your parents. They cross-examined us every day of our lives. These are the days of our lives. You know, you have to know the material. Hey, where were you last night? And you just say whatever. Okay. You know, but if they know the material, what time did you get there? Well, that's funny. Your 360 said that you were over at Danny's giving a little. Is that right? For you. And find out. Is that right? Love you long time. For you and find out. Are we on the right track to free? It's just trying to find the truth. And we're just pointing out that where the lies are. the inconsistent statements. Allie Tally, dude, give it up to Allie Tally and Foya. They're buying people memberships. Angel, thank you so much. Appreciate you. September Virgo, you have earned every penny of this, plus so much more. You have the heart, mind, and soul of the lioness. Dude, I'll debate anybody in this case. This is absolute bullshit. Thank you so much. It's just, we got, so when we talked to Moscow today, we got our receipt back. So we have Adam Lauda's interview, the new Gower one, which is, like I told you, an hour and 47 minutes. There's 2 papers coming out, one of which is the dog paperwork. Then there's going to be another paper coming out, and then 3 interviews, one of which is Ava Woods. The other 2 will come to me. And we were told that all of those should be out within the next 2 weeks. Like everything I just told you guys. So that's pretty good. They're switching up some stuff the way they're going to be doing these FOIAs. So I'm thinking that it's going to be faster and we might get some things loosened up. So, next. I want to be quick about some of this. Okay, so then I went through, because it was all about getting timestamps on for these cars, for anybody that could have ever said they were coming home and when. All right. Leslie Lehman did this report. Okay. She talked to members in the fraternity who saw Ethan and Xana at the party. Okay. So this was Leslie Lehman. She did not write this up until July of 2023. And so here in this report, whoopsies. Okay. This person said that he had spoken to members of the fraternity who saw Ethan and Xana. He's saying that he didn't personally see them, but he spoke with people that did. This person believes that blank blank was the last person to see Ethan and Xana. This name Ann Taylor has, no doubt about it. But that's your name for your first and last name was the last person to see. For this person to say was the last person to see Ethan and Xana at the Sigma Chi house, that to me is so interesting. Okay. How would you be able to ascertain that? That means you're sitting down with your group of people and it's like, listen, this is how we're going to handle this. You can either deal with me as the president or you can deal with the cops. Okay. So who saw Ethan and Xana? Raise your hand. Goes around the room. Okay. What time did you see them? Where were you? What time did you see them? Okay. Who was the last people to see them? Like, who's the last? What were they saying? Where were they headed? What are they doing? Like, that's what the fuck you would do. Okay. And then you would provide this list, and this is what everybody said. Here you go. Okay. Right. So with that being said, if you do that, that's what would have been done to say that this was the last person to see Ethan and Xana at the Sigma Chi house. Blank recalled speaking to blank about Xana having never been to blank, which is a different fraternity. Remember? It's a neighboring fraternity. Blank planned to take Xana to visit the neighboring fraternity at the conclusion of the Sigma Chi party, but Xana and Ethan did not make it. What the fuck does that mean? At the conclusion of the Sigma Chi party, but Xana and Ethan did not make it. What does that mean? They didn't make it. Let me explain what I mean by that. If I was interviewing you and you said that to me and used that type of language, I would say, what do you mean they didn't make it? Like, were they standing there with the person that was going to take them over to the party and then they just said, hey, we're going to go home? Or what do you mean that they didn't make it? That makes no sense. Because if they're going to be taken to a party, they're not just going to show up, right? Because here it's telling me that somebody is taking them to a party. Like, what? So, with that being said, if somebody is taking them to a party right here, so this person planned to take Xana to visit, planned to take Xana to visit. You see that? If you plan to take somebody to visit, then they'd be coming with you. There is no, like, and it was at the conclusion of that party that night to say, but Ethan and Xana, or Xana and Ethan did not make it. I would be like, why? Because they were dead? What do you mean didn't make it? Anyways, that's just bizarre. That needs to be cleaned up. That doesn't make any sense. Blank was at the blank party, but did not remember seeing Ethan and Xana. So then they gave a new name. Blank said house members who remember seeing Ethan and Xana also included this name, who may have had phone contact with Ethan at 1:30. What do you mean may have had? Either you had it or you didn't. May have. Like, get the fuck out of here. This person confirmed there was no surveillance videos in the Sigma Chi house. This person said personal videos taken in the house are not supposed to be posted on the internet. So I think because that they said probably something along the lines of, well, we've seen people have video in here, but I have no idea. This person who they're talking to confirmed the blank of the blank is blank, and he would also have, so vice president, and we would also have a copy of the list of those in attendance at the party, because guess what? It's so strict to get in, and all you could do is invite 2 people per person. This person had Ethan on Snapchat and said many other fraternity brothers would have his Snapchat. Okay, well, what was on it? This person said Ethan's closest friends in the fraternity would be, and then gave a bunch of names. The person that's being interviewed believed the blank party was the last party of the night at the campus. There may have been after parties at different fraternities or at the White's apartments. This person last saw Ethan and Xana at the blank on November 11th and remembered having a conversation with Xana. This is the interview that they did and how they went about the Sigma Chi house. Look at this, Leslie. This is Leslie Lehman. What a shitty ass job. This is who Leslie is. She is such a loafer. Okay, loaf queen. Absolute just disgrace. Leslie Lehman watched video surveillance and literally watched Eldora Gatchel's pilot leave. And then a white truck come a minute or two later and said to herself, oh, yeah, wow, Eldora Gatchel really saw that white truck blocking her way. No, bitch. That white truck left. There was no truck there. She knew it. She lied in her Excel spreadsheet that was then used to garner a false confession. Can you imagine me writing this up just like this and taking this? Hey, I'm just going to take out this 2:58 and 33-second one. Just take it out. Or better yet, I'm going to take out the fact that there was ever a vehicle that came before Eric Gower at 1:54. I'm going to take that out. Like, who do these people think that they are? You can't possibly watch a video and just miss something like that. You just can't. These people make me sick. Leslie Lamo. She's just garbage. She's just, and I personally believe that it's my opinion that she is, well, first of all, if you're this incompetent, you shouldn't have your job. So then it gets on the line of, okay, either You're not incompetent, and somebody is preventing you that's up here from you doing your job, and you're okay with it because then you're fluffing shit on purpose because you're a fluffster. And that's how she got her detectiveship, I believe. Leslie Lehman's first murder case that she ever handled in the role of a detective, and I think it was her first case ever as a detective, was the Brian Drake murder case. And boy, did she suck a big fat dick. Okay? Just call her up and ask her. Ask her if she thinks that she's a good detective. Ask her for her autograph. She's so fucking good. Disgusting. You know what my tip was to Ann Taylor's team? I said anything that has the name Mike Van Leuven, Gary Tolson, Leslie Lehman, and anything in District, those asses out in Coeur d'Alene. I said anything that has their name on any report. Rich Alderson, yeah, it's to be kind. Fine. They just not good at their job. Versus me just saying, hey, they're corrupt as fuck. Okay. So that was my tip to, I said anything that they have their name on. If Leslie Lehman had anything to do with watching surveillance tape, I can prove to you that she does not know how to do that. I can prove to you that Mike Van Leuven doesn't know how to check people's work. I can prove to you that Mike Van Leuven thinks that deer, okay, are going to solve a murder case. Bunch of idiots. But these people are the heart of all of the Idaho State Police reports. Like, how can you fuck up this bad? It's almost like second nature when if you're interviewing somebody, think about this. If you don't know anything, right, you have to just keep asking questions for you, even yourself, to understand it, right? Because I never understood this. If somebody called me up and was like, hey, Lana, go interview Bob Smith. Okay, what am I asking Bob Smith? Who is Bob Smith? What are they to the investigation? Give me some background here. Who's Bob? Like, you have to know like what you're supposed to be. Like, so, hey, Leanna, go interview. I need you to do an interview with Dylan Mortensen. Okay, she's one of the surviving roommates. Okay, has she been interviewed yet? Yeah. Here, this is what she said in her first interview. This is what she said outside the house. Okay. Are we looking at timeline stuff? Like, what do you want me just to go from top to bottom and have her go through her day again? Because I'm going to need like a day to go through all of this, and then let me prep, and then set me up to go interview with her, tomorrow. Do we have her phone records? Okay. Like, what are we looking at here? Do you think that she's given inconsistent statements? Does her statements not match the evidence? What's the problem here? Like, what are we doing? That's how that would be. How could I just go interview Dylan Mortensen? Hey, Dylan. Hi, how are you? I know that you've talked about, 3 or 4 different people. I'm the 5th person. Well, I was looking at your phone records here, and they don't match anything that you said. Actually, I just want to narrow down some things here. Maybe we can walk through a couple of things if you remember doing some stuff on your phone. Maybe it can kind of, like, I really want to focus in on, people seem to be thinking that the dog was upstairs dancing around, and that's what you heard. And then some people seem to think that the dog was on the, second level. Can we clear that up? Like, isn't that what the fuck? I just know in my line of work, if I produced shitty ass videos, I wouldn't have a job. I mean, I guess I can go on, still do videos, but you guys wouldn't watch, right? It'd be like fucking horrible. How do these people keep their jobs? I don't know how these people keep their jobs. But so that little play that I just did with you guys, think about it. 120 people to be tossed into this investigation. And when you're asked to, okay, hey, go interview, here's a tip that came in. Call them up. And yeah, see what kind of car they drive and see where they were on the 12th and the 13th. Okay. Like that's the results that we get because these people don't know what do you want me to ask these people? What is the tip about? Oh, well, they called in this car. Well, shouldn't I go out and see the fucking car and to see? I don't know if there's blood in there or anything like that. Hey, would you be willing to let me come out and check out your vehicle? Or better yet, if you don't want to tell somebody that you're doing that, that you're just gonna, you know, make sure that you don't do an interview over the phone and instead have them drive in their car. And then when you're talking to them in the police station, send out one of your freaking frat brothers to get out there and take some pictures of it. You know, did you loan out your car? Do you have any reason to believe that, if somebody was to turn in a tip and say that we need to look at your car, would you be willing to let us look at your car? I mean, these are young kids, right? You can just ask them for whatever. Sure, yeah, come check out my car. Do they say that in any of these things? No. I mean, this is wild. Like, what the fuck? This is filler shit. This is all filler stuff. And then the good stuff, they bury it with other things. Um, Organizing 120 people is not easy. No, it's not. Especially when you have to have these 120 people to know what it is that you want from them. And then I'm always about, if I have to sit there and tell you what to do for an hour, dude, I'm going to go do it myself and I could get way more done. Like, that's just, why would I sit there and tell you what to do and how to do it when, oh my God, I could have just literally just got through 5 of those. And if I don't have reports to read and see or watch these videos or listen to these audios so that I can hear what people are saying, right? Because these reports aren't being written for like hella long time. So then how am I able to get the information to then debrief the whole group on what transpired that day and what information was, said? And yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely wild shit, man. Okay, so the last part about this is okay. Um, right here. At 11, so Kristen Noah and Leslie Lehman have a phone conversation with this other person, and this person was with Ethan and Xana at the party, which ended at 1 on the 13th. Following the end of the party, so this is the important part of this interview, which would love to know if it's audio recorded. But this person says that following the end of the party, Ethan and Xana went to, now see how you can see like this number. So they go into an actual apartment number, okay, at the Sigma Chi house. After Ethan and Xana gathered some items in Blank's room, the group, including Blank's girlfriend, and that's her name, they returned to Blank within the Sigma Chi house. I'm guessing like a certain area. This person that's being interviewed believed the couple packed up a couple of beers and Ethan's black dress jacket, possibly into a bag carried by Xana. Now, why the fuck would Xana carry the bag and not Ethan? What kind of man does that? I think Ethan would 1000% carry the bag before Xana would. He would not be walking around with no bag and Xana has the bag. That is, his parents would have never raised him like that. I'm telling you that right now. This was the last time that this person saw Ethan and Xana. Ethan and Xana did not tell this person where they were going to after leaving. And this to me is what they were told to say. Right here, this person, in my opinion, was told to say that. I don't know where they were going. They didn't tell me. I don't buy that. Like, could you tell? Like, if these people were taking beer to go, think about it. If they're taking beer to go, they have so much beer at their house. They have beer there. They're not. They don't even need to grab a couple beers. But guess what, guys? The detective in me tells me this. Ready? If I wasn't going home, I'm gonna need beer because of where I'm going next. Make sense? Capiche? If I was just walking home where I have a plethora of alcohol, I don't need to stuff a couple beers in a backpack. Okay. Sorry, I don't. And I wouldn't. It's not worth the risk for me if depending on how Moscow operates, which they're underage, they can't even have the shit on them. We have a whole plethora of beer and alcohol at the house. For me to take 2 beers to go, why would I take 2 beers to go to walk across a lot and walk to my house? That makes no sense when there's undercovers out there. I would just, it just, that logic, again, maybe that's just why I was just ahead of the curve. But if me and my friends were doing that, I would say, guys, no, we know that they are fucking always walking around. We're going to the house. There's tons of beer there. We don't need to put 2 fucking beers in this book bag and get in trouble for that. I mean, that's just insane. Like, that's just stupid. Because in that case, give me 5 fucking kilos. If I'm going to get in trouble, I'm going down. I'm not going down and getting in trouble over a goddamn beer. It's not happening. That's so stupid. So I think that the beer putting in the bag, if this is at all accurate, they were going somewhere else before they went home to another party because they needed to bring their beer. But hey, now Blank said that he and a group went over to this, and then in parentheses, it was following the Sigma Chi party, but he did not see Ethan and Xana at the place. Now, I find this hard to believe that a group of people went somewhere and Ethan and Xana would have just been like mutes, not saying anything, packing up a bag, putting beer in it, not telling anybody, oh, hey, no, we're just going to head home. Like, we're tired. Like, that's what you would have heard if a group of people, you're all right there ending at one. Oh, hey, what are you guys going to go do? Where you guys, like, that's the type of talk that's happening. Not me and you. We're going to be mutes here, not say anything. And yeah, sure. Awesome. The fuck out of here. That's so dumb. Anybody that would believe that, that's so dumb. But my question is why don't you just look at Ethan and Xana's phones? They're they're texting people. They're, come on. Why can't you just look at their phones? You should know everywhere and anywhere that they went. Unless their phones are telling us something completely wild and they're just like, there's no way. There's no way. So everybody else seemed to be in a group, but Ethan and Xana, we have no idea. Nobody knows what happened to Ethan and Xana after 1 o'clock in the morning. Poof. Blank said that he and Ethan attended a formal at Blank prior to the Sigma Chi party. Blank said that the theme at the Sigma Chi party, was a sports-oriented theme, but Blank could not recall exactly what Ethan and Xana were wearing during the party. Are you fucking kidding me? It's a sports-oriented theme? What? What is a sports theme? Can somebody please tell me what a sports theme is? Like, am I supposed to come in my jersey? Because now you got me totally interested in the fact that, is that why Bethany was in her Tom Brady jersey? Which tells me that she just went to bed. Oh my God. Bethany never changed her clothes. Oh my God. 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 Hold on. Bethany, holy shit, girl. Oh my God. There we go, Bethany. Damn. Just get Lana reading shit. There she goes. Bethany didn't go to sleep. I knew it. Bethany goes to bed in her Tom Brady jersey. It's a sports party, and she wore her Tom Brady girl t-shirt jersey. Holy shit. She's a Pats fan. That's right. Is that right? Damn, Lana. Fuck, another win. Oh, there we go. We got to highlight that. Damn. What do you mean, where were you going with that? She never came home? No, Bethany never. I'm sorry, you guys. There's a couple of things you do, and you definitely don't get in your bed when you've been out and you just get in your bed with the same outfit that you were out in all night. You don't get in bed with it unless you didn't go to sleep. Unless you passed out on the couch. Nobody gets into their bed, a clean ass bed, even in college, with the same outfit that you wore out the night before. You come home. I'm gonna go to bed. It's 2:30 in the morning, and you go downstairs and you take off and you get into your. If you were really drunk, you would, huh? Well, good thing we have a lot of witnesses to say that's not the case. Or if they pass out. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how much that phone is walking around and what time in the phone's movements, but now it makes way more sense. I mean, it still makes sense if she wanted to get up because Tom Brady was playing at 6:30 in the morning. She's a huge Tom Brady fan. She's like, Brady. Tom Brady, baby. She wasn't wearing a jersey. It wasn't a basic t-shirt. It's a girl style jersey, which is the t-shirt. Okay. I call it girl style jersey. It is a t-shirt. Tom Brady. Yeah. It's a Pats. It's meant to look like a jersey. It's a female t-shirt. You can go buy them in the female section of Sports Fanatics every day, all day. And it's designed and has the number on the back, Brady, and it has his number. It looks like a jersey in the form of a t-shirt. And I said, wow. I said, what the fuck? Bethany went to bed and she was sleeping in pajamas, Tom Brady t-shirt? I was like, huh. I was like, oh, or she woke up early in the morning, like when she called her dad because she was watching the Tom Brady game and she was like, I'm going to put on my Brady jersey, her t-shirt. Now we find out that it was a sports themed party at the Sigma Chi party. And it's like, oh my God, Bethany wore her Tom Brady t-shirt to the party. That was her sports gear. Which is even worse for Bethany, in my opinion. And the whole coming home and yeah, that's worse. It just seems like you didn't go to sleep. That's all. You guys, I'm sorry, but what about when she woke up at 6:30 or 7 o'clock to a toothache and calls her dad? Are you going to get out of those clothes at that point? I mean, these are girls that put themselves together every day, do makeup, do hair, right? Moving on. This person had a photo of Ethan at the formal party, but did not have any other photos of the evening. Well, I would love to see that photo. This person interacted with Ethan almost every day as both of them were in and they were close friends. Perfect. Next. This is okay. Take a look here. On November 18th, Idaho State Police Detective Leslie Lehman, received an email. So she fucks it all up again, and she says that she wrote this report on 11/18, but she didn't. Okay. This is wrote, see this right here? Right before February 6th. But on November 18th, Police Detective Leslie Lehman received an email from this person of the blank and blank. Blank provided a Dropbox link to video surveillance footage he preserved during the evening hours of November 12th into November 13th. The video link was forwarded to blank. And anytime you see the word and anybody using a Dropbox, right here, I just have one question for the person. Who told you to use a Dropbox? Did Detective Lehman do that, or did you decide to use a Dropbox on your own? Because that's how you can keep things out of the hands of a defense team. And that's how you can claim that I didn't open it yet. Because an email, when you actually view your email, it's going to tell you when you opened up that email and when you viewed an attachment. Put in a Dropbox, and now we can do a lot more funkier shit. This is hilarious to me. Then, so I preserved this video from the Dropbox and placed the media on a disk. The disk and the email it says will be given, not like it has been, will be given to the Moscow Police Department. Man, fuck you, Leslie. It will be given. Oh, will it? Sounds good. Sounds good, Leslie. Learn how to write a report right. Here we go. Next one. Okay, so on November 15th, the report was written on after the arrest of Brian Koberger. Okay. Miss Mesa David, on my report that Leslie did, it was a note being made to an aide prosecutor. She's awesome. Yeah, she's horrible. Okay, so check this out. On November 15th, this report gets written in January. Okay, this person conducted an interview with blank at the Moscow Police Department, located at, so this is on November 15th. Please reference the video and audio interview recording for the full details. Oh, thanks. Okay, we will. Report 86, and want to show you that. Okay. Right here. See, so I'm going to zoom in. Okay, this is to do with the person that's being interviewed is he left his apartment at approximately 8 p.m. on November 12th with a female friend named blank. They went to Mingles, a bar in Moscow, ended up meeting another female friend there, and the three of them then went to the corner club between approximately midnight and 1. Okay. At the corner club, and now this person being interviewed so early on, it has to be an important name. But hey, we're just not going to turn this in. At the corner club, he really noticed a girl who couldn't stand, was touching everyone. And he stated, I thought she was on something. So I was like, this chick is just your classic college girl that took a pill and didn't know what it was or something, you know? In quotes. This female was later identified as Madison Mogan. How was she identified as Madison Mogan? I'm curious. Did they show him a picture and say, "Oh yeah, that was the girl," or are they just saying that? This person that was interviewed, as you can see here, is 33 years of age. Now, blank and another male left the corner club at approximately closing time and went to the grub truck, a food truck located in Moscow, Idaho. Perfect. After they got to the grub truck, he noticed Mogan arrive with another female who was later identified as Kaylee. Well, I said, what? This person and another male left the corner club at approximately closing time. Well, then you left after? That doesn't make any sense. Closing time is 2 a.m. So, and you saying that after him and his friend got to the grub truck, he noticed Mogan arrive with another female. Like, this order is completely fucked. Who was later identified as Kaylee. Mogan appeared extremely intoxicated, to the point she was falling against the grub truck repeatedly. He noticed a male standing near Mogan and Gonsalves and believed he was there with them. This male was identified as Showalter. He had a conversation with Blank at the grub truck. Blank said he was just there to make sure the girls got home safe. Oh, okay, so let me ask you guys a question. This is Joe Vita, Joe Voda, Joe Vita, Joe Vito, Joe Vita. I looked up a ton of shit about this kid. This kid and his family are some very interesting characters in Moscow, Idaho. Very, very interesting characters. Also, he was at the corner club. Anyways, we all see on the camera that Joe was there before them, right? Anyways, now, okay. Next. Here is this person on November 18th was interviewed. Andy Huddle. This person was on the, what's her name's, Ann Taylor's witness list for a reason. This right here is one of the reasons. She was going to ask Andy Huddle about this interview. Because this person stated that she was at the lodge party with Xana and Ethan on the night prior to the homicide. And they discussed going to fucking Applebee's the following day. What? They did? Amazing. Awesome. Like, interesting, right? They discussed, hey, let's go to Applebee's the following day. This person stated nothing was out of the ordinary throughout the evening. This is a female. This person stated she knew everyone in the Twitch video with Kaylee and Maddie. Now, right here, she named this person, first and last, and stated he was a blank fraternity member providing sober rides. Ding, ding, ding. There we go. And why is this important? Because this person right here would be able to help with the timeline with all the cars coming and going. So this is the person that outs the person at the grub truck and saying, hey, that person in the grub truck video right here. So let's take a look and watch what it says. She named this person. He was a blank fraternity member providing sober rides. Blank named a second person in the video. So she's looking at the video, names one person, then names the second person in the video as then now this person, okay? This girl said that she heard blank and blank. So these two people drove Kaylee and Maddie home. And this is the one where I'm just like, I can't shake this. I cannot shake the fact that she's looking at the grub truck video and she's saying and pointing this person and this person. When is Eric Gower in the video? Do you ever see him in the video? Does anybody ever see Eric Gower in the video? In the grub truck video? Next. So one of them is the fraternity member that's the sober rider, the sober rides. Now, blank named a second person in the video as now this name, which I believe could potentially be Eric Gower right there. This person said that she heard that the sober driver and Eric Gower drove Kaylee and Maddie home. This person said both blank and blank called in to the tip hotline to advise law enforcement. What? Blank stated she heard a person named blank blank stopped by the King Street residence to meet with Xana. Boom! You see this right here? See that name? Just a couple letters for the first name, last name like that. Dude, this is just stuffed in a nice little report 78 here. Nothing to see here. Okay, ready? I'll repeat that for you guys. So not only is she looking at the grub truck video and she's pointing out, I want to know the person that's driving the white car. And is that one of the people that she's pointing out was a sober driver, which is the white car that looks like it could be suspect vehicle 1. Okay? Everybody piles out of that white car. Suspect vehicle 1. Okay? Then she points out another person. And according to her, these two people gave Maddie and Kaylee a ride. Okay. Then, when I thought that, okay, great, whatever, no, we get to the last part of this, which is this person stated that she heard a person named this first name and this last name stopped by the King Street residence to meet with Xana. That could be a possibility. Ready? Who the fuck is this person? And who was supposed to swing by the house and see Xana? Again, this person stated she heard a person named first and last stopped by the King Street residence to meet with Xana. Blank is also a blank blank and is dating blank blank. So I'm going to say that this person that she just said, blank, then they're using the last name there, is also a Sigma Chi and is dating, and then a first and last name is right there. This person stated she was primarily friends with Xana and her friend group and was not close with the others. During follow-up questioning, like at the end of the interview, this person explained the lodge parties always end at 1, and she last spoke with Xana between 12:45 and 1 that morning. According to this person, the lodge party was tame and not very many people attended due to the short duration of planning for it. This was like a last minute, like, hey, we're going to have a lodge party. During the interview, A second individual could be heard in the background, screaming out. And she identified herself as blank blank. And this person stated that she also attended a lodge party and was with blank, like with this girl. Both the person that was first interviewed and this person that just started flailing out in the background stated there was nothing out of the ordinary through the evening or the night. When asked questions regarding observing anything unusual, both these people were not directly aware of anything. Now, I want to hear their voices with this. Because it was when they're trying to say we're not directly aware of anything. That is worded for a reason because it's hearsay and they did not want to put it in here. And that's why they said they were not directly aware of anything. And then stated, here, blank provided phone numbers, blank for this and blank for this person, and stated her phone number was blank. Based upon the responses, both blank and blank were referred for a follow-up interview by victimology. Based upon the responses. Victimology. That means Joe Lake. Joe Lake got these girls. Based upon their responses. What are you talking about? Look at this. This interview literally has, this is just like basically your, at approximately 9:10 in the morning, we interviewed this girl. Okay, so that's just blah. All you wrote was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little measly paragraphs, like so small. And oh my God, based on these responses, go give this to, oh my God, go see Joe Lake. Well, how about go see the fucking FBI and talk about this right here, which is this person. How about you just go talk to this person that was supposed to go and meet up with Xana Kernodle? Where? When? At the King Street residence? When? What? What the fuck were you talking about? Where did you hear this from? Who did you hear this from? Nothing to see here. Dude, they could not find Ethan and Xana. They had to launch a whole new investigation. Okay, we have to start from scratch here. Next. This is another good one. Okay. This is report 7. And this is my second to last one, and then we are done. Ready? This is an interview that takes place on November 18th, but does not get wrote up in a report until February 6th. And this is a big one. Because we want to figure out all these people that came on home and who was in whose car. So what I've been doing is going through my list like this. Okay. And we're about to find out if it, in fact, was a pizza delivery company, but we're going to find out who that belonged to, like who ordered anything. Right here, SUV enters King and drops 3 people off at 11:27 in that area. And that was at approximately 1:04, so basically 1 a.m. So I was going through and finding out anybody that said that they got home at 1 a.m. And it was 3 people. Okay. So in comes Suge Tits. Suge Knight here. Ding, ding, ding. This person was in the same sorority as Kaylee. Okay. Saturday night, she went to the Dirty Goat, a local bar. Gonsalves contacted her and wanted her to go to the Corner Club. She met Gonsalves at the Corner Club around 11 p.m. Kaylee Mogan and a lot of other people were there. Awesome. Now, she had a small run-in with this dude at the Corner Club. He was kicked out of the bar around the same time or not too long before. Now, Mogan and Gonsalves left the corner club. She stayed at the corner club until approximately 2 a.m. and arrived home at approximately 2:30 a.m. Now, when you go and look at okay. 2:36. Car enters 1112. Cam catches it and it goes back to the area where Jack D's house is, which is across from Jack D house is where that Alpha Phi house is. And then the area and leaves within 28 seconds. It's a ride share possibly. Okay, so that's how I had it marked. Now, what has emerged here is I believe that we're looking at possibly this is report 8. So what I do here is that's what these lines are for, to put in the report that it would be associated with. So she says that she gets home at approximately 2:30 a.m. She was up until approximately 3:30 a.m. and did not hear anything. Now, she woke up Sunday morning at approximately 7:30 a.m. She had been in a different room than her own. Yep, remember that? Well, she and her roommate made breakfast around 8:30, and later when she went to her room, she could see a lot of police cars next door. Now, she spoke with Eric, the Uber driver, who told her he was pretty sure he had taken Mogan and Gonsalves home that night. Eric drove a smaller gray sedan. Now, this is the girl that knows a ton about where people are living at in the house. Like that Kaylee was in Xana's room at first, and then she moved. But right here, she says, her bedroom window looks out onto 1122 King Road's backyard. She can usually hear anything going on in their backyard. Murphy, the dog, at 1122 King Road, usually barks a little bit, and she can generally hear it, which she didn't recall happening that night. Okay, now, this has to be an like, are you fucking kidding me? This is the girl that booked her Europe trip with Kaylee, okay? She knew about the Range Rover. She knew to the exact dollar amount that Kaylee got for that car and that it was on Facebook Marketplace. I mean, this is somebody with intimate knowledge and correct knowledge, except we get to the dog barking. Okay, and I believe this is Bailey Dempsey, by the way. Okay, this is the house that's 1118. It's going to be right next to 1112. Okay. And my issue is how the hell are you going to say that you didn't hear any fucking dogs barking? I mean, what? Like, what? It's just wild as fuck. Wild as fuck. Well, now I'm going to blow your minds. Okay. So, last one we're talking about. Adam Lauda. Me and Bella have been going back and forth and on what interview in the book is Adam Lauda's interview. And if Moscow did not mess this up, we're about to have our minds blown. I'm still on the fence that Moscow didn't mess this up, but when we got our stuff back, we had turned it in, and it was report number 8, Adam Lauda's, and Moscow comes back and says, yes, it is. And I said, holy shit, let me show you why. If this is true. First of all, Moscow Police Department says that is not who interviewed him, who's on that report. It's a really whack report, and he wasn't interviewed in Parma, Idaho. I said, no shit. Okay. Check this out. Report 8. I had this as either Braden Jensen or the other dude. Okay. Now, they're saying, according to Moscow, that this report is Adam Lotto's report. And I said, there is no motherfucking way. But here we go. Check this out. Okay. On November 18th at approximately 11:36 a.m., Homeland Security Investigations Task Force Officer Sage Collins and I, Matt Wersinger, interviewed, and I said, this is not Adam. Okay? Like, there has to be a mistake here. Like, do you see how long that is right there? Anyways, this interview took place at Blank's home located at Blank in Parma Canyon County, Idaho. The following is a summary of the statements. Blank was a friend of Gonsalves and Mogan and was also their neighbor across the street at Blank King Road in Moscow, Latah County, Idaho. He did not know the other two victims. Gonsalves was in a same the fraternity dating relationship with one of Blank's roommates. Blank. Jack Decor. So one of last names with apostrophe S's roommates, Jack Decor. Blank and Blank were in the same fraternity. Blank also knew Mogan's boyfriend, but he had graduated and was living in Boise. He knew Gonsalves a little bit more than Mogan because she had dated Decor, and he said their relationship remained amicable. Blank and his girlfriend, Blank, were at his house on Saturday. So if this is Adam Lauda, this is Lauda and his girlfriend were at his house on Saturday, November 12th. Blank went to the victim's house around 10 p.m. That would be like Adam Lauda's girlfriend went to and then drove with Kaylee and Maddie. At approximately 10:45, the girlfriend of Adam Lauda, Gonsalves, and Mogan got a ride to the corner club located at blah, blah, blah. Blank believed they got a ride from an Uber driver named Eric. He and his friends went to the corner club shortly after the girls left. And I said, wait a second. Adam Lauda wasn't working that night? Again, this is the argument we're having. I'm like, Moscow Police Department says that something is wrong here, and this report belongs to Adam Lauda. And I said, dude, wait till you see what's in this report. This can't be. There's like no fucking way. Because watch what's in this report. I said, there has to be something wrong here. So here. After approximately an hour, Blank spoke with Kaylee and Mogan briefly while at the corner club before they left. Blank told Blank, so meaning his girlfriend told him the two girls were going to John's Alley located at right there. So that's how he knew that. Then Blank saw that they were hanging out with another student he identified as this name and saw them leaving the corner club with the same person. This person, the girlfriend, told Adam Lauda the two girls did not typically hang out with this person, and so Lauda thought that it was weird or was odd. Blank and Blank walked to Blank's house at approximately 1:30 a.m. and stayed there. I'm like, wait, what? Blank and Blank walked to Blank's house at approximately 1:30 a.m. and stayed there. Okay. And so I'm like, wait a second. So wait, continue on here. So that means that they walked from Corner Club. Capiche? They woke up the next morning, Sunday, November 13th, went and got breakfast, and blank drove blank. So the girlfriend drove Adam Lotta to his house at approximately 11:45 a.m. And I'm like, the way that they're talking, it's like they don't live across the street from each other. There was only one police vehicle. So basically, they walked to her house, right? Yeah. They walked to her house after being at the corner club, and that was approximately at 1:30 a.m. and stayed there. They then woke up the next morning on Sunday, November 13th, went and got breakfast. Okay. And then she drove Adam Lotta to his house at approximately 11:45. Now that we have, ready for this? We have 1112 cam, right? And so this is the car that comes at 11:45 in the morning. Okay, hang tight. It's going to get really good here. Woo! Okay. It's going to get real good. So the car that we see coming at 11:45 in the morning, or right there, now watch what it says. At 11:45 in the morning, when this car gets there, there was only one police vehicle in front of the residence when they drove by. Now, when they drove by, are you talking about drove by where? Drove by the house? Drove by like, so I can't wait to hear that. We're getting this interview here, just lickety split. Drove by like that area, because let me explain what I mean by that. We see the one solo car, which is Eric Warner's, parked kind of where like King and Queen kind of meet there, but then up by the house is Noonan's vehicle. Okay, so hang tight. And so it's like, drive by where? Like, are you talking about driving by the 1122 and that's the vehicle that you're talking about? You only saw one? Or are you talking about when you're driving, down King to go to the dead end of where Adam Lotta's house is? Ready? So there was only one police vehicle in front of the residence. And I was like, in front of the residence? I mean, that's specific. So I'm like, holy shit. So when they drove blank to his house at approximately 11:45, there was only one police vehicle in front of the residence when they drove by. Blank went outside with blank and another roommate, blank, and watched more law enforcement respond to the scene. This person ran to the victim's house, Decor, ran to the victim's house and was there for approximately an hour and a half before returning. Decor was visibly upset and told this person, some of the girls had died, and Kaylee was one of them. This person left Moscow later on Sunday. Meaning, if this is Adam Lotta's interview, Adam left Moscow later on Sunday. Lotta clarified he and blank went to the grub truck on their way from the corner club to blank's house. So hang tight. Now I'm like, wait, because this is where I was like, so here the cops have information. And so he clarifies, oh, we didn't just walk from the corner club to her house. We walked from the corner club. Okay. We walked from the corner club to actually the grub truck. Okay. And then from the grub truck, we went back to homegirl's house. Okay. So now here, getting into the conversation, Adam wants to clarify something and say, oh, well, actually, we went to the grub truck on the way from the corner club to my girlfriend's house. Okay. He also saw on social media Gonsalves and Mogan went to the grub truck after he and his girlfriend were there. And I'm like, wait, what? Watch this. Blank thought they may have been at the grub truck between 3 and 3:30. I'm like, what is he talking about? They weren't there. Okay, so then I'm just like, hang on. Jesus, this is going to be really interesting. I mean, if this is Adam Lauda's interview, okay, which Moscow Police Department swears up and down that it is, because we had to clarify all of that over the past couple weeks here. Because remember, this is not Moscow Police Department report, but it was given to them and now they're in charge of it. Now check this out. I'm like, why the fuck is he thinking that he went to the grub truck at 3:30 when literally he just stated up here, unless these, now just remind you, these guys are idiots. When he's saying up here that he left the corner club at 1:30, okay? For him to then, he would never be saying, oh yeah, I left the corner club at 1:30, but I think I left the grub truck at 3:30. Timestamp on the grub truck at 3:30 would be around 1:30. I don't know. Okay. Regardless, if this is Adam Lauda, he wasn't bartending that night, which totally changes some stuff with what I'm doing with my timeline. Okay. So, right here, Adam clarified, if this is Adam, that he and his girlfriend went to the grub truck on their way from the corner club to her house. He also saw on social media that Gonsalves and Mogan went there to the grub truck, and it was after he and his girlfriend were there. So he's saying that he got to the grub truck earlier, and then Kaylee and Maddie came there because he then just saw the video. So they were there after us, though. Blank thought they may have been at the grub truck between 3 and 3:30 a.m. based on when they posted to their social media. And it's like, what? He's basically saying that how he's gauging when he was at the grub truck, you guys, is based off of when him and his girlfriend posted to their social media. You understand that? Okay. So he was guessing on that. And so it's like, no, you're probably just laying in bed, and when you uploaded it, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, we were in bed at home, and when I uploaded those photos, you know. Anyways. Next. Blank thought it was odd that Blank spent so much time around the two girls. He's talking about Showalter. Number 10. Blank had heard. So Lauda had heard Blank may have committed the murder, but said Blank went home with their other roommates, Blank and Blank. Blank, and then the first one, when he and Blank left the corner club. So this person that's being interviewed, Adam Lauda, had heard that Jack Decor, and this last name is Decor, may have committed the murder, but said Decor went home with their other roommates, and then gave the names of the other roommates that he went home with. When he and what's her name left, so he's saying when myself and my girlfriend left the corner club, my roommate fucking was leaving with my other roommates to go back to the house. I went to my girlfriend's house. Jack went with them to go home. Okay. Now, Blank's fourth roommate, this name, worked at Blank, but would have gone home around 4 a.m. after closing down Blank. And this is where I'm just like, you guys, Moscow has to be wrong. Moscow has to be wrong. This cannot be Adam Lauda's interview, because he's speaking like he doesn't even work at the corner club. Because this person in this interview, unless they got so many things wrong, this person in this interview is talking about how one of their other roommates, that's why I had this as Jensen, okay? One of their other roommates worked at the corner club. Okay. And he would have probably gotten home around 4. All right. And that's why I'm like, yes, sir. Let's talk about somebody getting home around 4. Because what does that mean for Lana? It's just greatness for Lana. I told you guys earlier, I said, you guys know that last car that came in at 40, what was it? 406? 44? It was looking like it was trying to park. Okay. Now. Okay. Where are we at here? Okay. Coming down here. Okay. So one of the roommates would have gotten home around 4 a.m. after closing down the bar. Okay. And that's where I was like, hey, we need to, what vehicle is coming in that it can be, Adam or whatever roommate they're now going to be saying is working at this goddamn bar. Okay. There were also 2 more students that lived above them. So everybody's been wondering, is Jack D on the first floor or the second floor? Jack D's on the first floor, 1000%. So there were also two more students that lived above their house, and it was this person and this person that were hanging out with. I'm telling you, that's decor blank and blank before they all went to bed. Which it's like I talked to my roommates more or less. This is why I'm giving you this information. Now 11. Blank told blank. This person told the person that's being interviewed. He had been woken up between 4 and 4:45 a.m. because Blank's, Decor's, and Gonsalves's dog had been barking very loudly and uncontrollably. It sounded as though the dog was outside, which was odd because of how cold it was and the dog not being an outside dog. And I cannot wait to hear this. And if they truly talk, like, this is hearsay upon hearsay. Because, ready, ding, 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 it's not Murphy. Okay? It's not Murphy. That dog that's barking is not Murphy. Blank did not know the 2 roommates that were not injured and found it odd that they were sitting in their rooms and slept through the incident. That they were sitting in their rooms and slept through the incident. Now think about who he would have heard that from. His motherfucking girlfriend, okay? And the way that it's said, just like this, is interesting. That they were sitting in their rooms and slept through the incident. Sitting in their rooms. Blank was not aware of any of the victims having a stalker. He mentioned a stalker from earlier in the year. Wait, this. That lived in the blank apartments that had already been reported to the police. What? Okay, so this is what we used. We used this number to be able to get our FOIA. And listen to this. This is how it is. We used this number, and this number comes back to being Adam Lauda's interview. And so I am wondering if Adam, when he was the bartender at, everybody looking back at old stuff, we have him being a bartender at the Corner Club. It's actually before the murders, and I'm curious if he was no longer one, or maybe just like a fill-in or something. But this number on how this was tagged, this number equals Adam Lauda. And so I said, holy fucking shit. And that would mean that Mark Trivial, when he said that a couple of his employees, it makes way more sense now when Mark was interviewed for I forget if it was Vanity Fair. Who did that interview when Mark had a bunch of things? Because it was multiple people that worked with him or worked for him. But so if this is Adam, where his let me just show you something. Let's go to a video. I think this is Adam. I thought the reason I think that it's Adam is because the tag of the number, but it changes everything in a very good way. Very good way, but you have to follow along with it, and it's like that puts somebody else living across from Jack Decor, not Adam's girlfriend. And hold on. Right here. But the big thing is that it was Adam's girlfriend that went with Kaylee and Maddie which makes way more sense. It was Adam's girlfriend that went with Maddie and Kaylee to, okay, now watch this. Okay, hang tight. That means that report number 9 is Adam's girlfriend. Okay. Which, watch this. He could have been questioned on that, you guys. This is just the report. This is just the typed up version. We all know that when we actually get the version of just like their audio, it's way more in depth. Okay. Now, this is Adam's girlfriend. See, I even have her name, I think, right, but we'll bypass that. Okay. Now, Sage Collins and I, Detective Mears, interviewed Blank in regard to the homicide. Okay. The interview took place at Blank's boyfriend home located in Parma Canyon County. Now, I'm telling you right now, this interview allegedly, supposedly, did not happen there. On Saturday, November 12th, this girl, Adam's girlfriend, was at Blank College House located at Blank King Road in Moscow, Idaho. She called Kaylee at approximately 10 p.m. and went over to her house. Maddie came home from the Sigma Chi house shortly thereafter. Kaylee had contacted a man by the name of Eric to give them a ride from their house. This person, the girlfriend, did not know Eric's last name, but provided his phone number as Blank. When Eric arrived to pick them up, Kaylee got into the front seat and those two got into the back seat. Blank had recently had a baby, and this girl asked him how fatherhood was, and this girl said that Eric was feeling down about it and let out a big sigh. He said it was harder than he had expected. He had been kind of hard on, it has been kind of hard on him. He also said his wife and kid were out of town and he was excited to have the house to himself for the weekend. Eric dropped the girls off at the corner club and told them that he would be driving until about 3 a.m. Now, blank, 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 and blank were friends of the girls and were already at the bar. This girl told blank he would also go to the corner club. Blank and blank shared a class with a guy named blank who was also at the corner club. This guy began creeping blank out and by staring at her and making comments to her. Blank also spoke to blank saying he needed to get her blank goddamn phone number right now and was kind of being aggressive. Blank hung out around the girls at the bar for a while. Blank said that Kaylee and Maddie left to go to John's Alley in Moscow and heard blank blank went with them, Jack Showalter, and she heard this. She didn't see him leave with the girls, but thought it would be weird if it was true. The girls had apparently asked Jack Showalter to go with them as well, but he said at the corner club, "Oh, I don't know who this is then." The girls had apparently asked Jack Decor. That's right. Because that's what Jack Decor told Adam and Adam told the girlfriend. Now, this girl left the corner club with her boyfriend Adam Lauda at approximately 1:15 a.m. and went to the grub truck. She's got it down pat. They got food at the grub truck and went to blank's house at blank in Moscow to eat and go to bed. This is this girl's house. I asked blank why it would have been odd for the girls to leave with Jack Showalter. She said Showalter was not someone she or the other girls hung out with because he was weird. He smoked a lot of pot, had a temper, and fought a lot. The girls knew Showalter because he was in a sorority, and Mogan's boyfriend was also in that sorority, and they often would hang out. Now, she's going to start spilling some tea. She says Gonsalves and Mogan had sent videos of themselves at the grub truck to a Snapchat group around 2 a.m. That would be after they were home. If it was truly around 2 a.m., they would have gotten home already. Blank had not heard of Kaylee having a stalker. She said the victims were pretty well liked and did not know of any issues victims had with anybody. This girl thought that blank blank may have been working at the blank the night of the incident, as well as blank blank and blank blank and blank blank. What? So she's saying that these people, this person may have been working at this place the night of the incident, as well as, and then names off literally 3 more people. Blank said there was a lot of Instagram accounts that were surfacing. The accounts had few followers, but were following many of the girls and making comments such as, "You're next, thank God they're gone, and I'm going to do it again." This girl, Adam Lauda's girlfriend, thought Blank's involvement with the sorority girls was odd. And this was Eric Gower. So this girl thought that Eric Gower's involvement with the sorority girls was odd. He would frequently drop other rides for them and gave them his personal phone number. He seemed to pay particular attention, blank member, like for the Alfie members, what Kaylee was in. This started with 2 sorority girls that had already graduated and had passed Eric Gower's phone number on to them. And I believe one of them is Sophia Whitehead. People that live in that house with, what's her name? The interview was concluded at 1:03 p.m. For complete details of the statement, review audio recording of this interview. And I'm like, wait, what? So it was an hour. You know damn well they talked way more about all of this shit. There was way more involved. And it was just like, okay, thanks, nothing more. Right? Because right when they got to Eric, it was like, okay, let's stop right now. Okay. So, newsflash. Everybody out there that thought that Adam Lauda stayed at his house the night of the murders, that is not true. So, that was the next big bomb here. And from these reports, Adam Lauda did not work at the bar that night. Somebody else from that house did. Okay. And I want to say his name was, it's the littler kid. He's a really nice kid. Oh, God. He was the one that got punched by the football player. Say his name. That's what WSU Kim said. She said that Adam did not stay at the house that night. I thought Adam was Jack's alibi. Whoever thought that? That's not true. I think it was just mixed up. I'm going to tell you why and how. Because everybody has been wrong about who was bartending that night and who bartends at the corner club. Okay. So we need to understand that oh boy, that we can take Adam off the list of looking for his car to come back in the area because he was not working and closing, but it would somebody else though was that lived at that house that was a roommate. Timmy Reed. Yes, that's it. Right there. That's who I believe was your bartender that night. Go look it up. I found a picture of Timmy Reed behind the bar. And that would make sense in a way for me to why he could potentially have a confrontation with, athletes that would go into the corner club or something like that. They said Adam was their bartender friend. Who said that? Everyone's dead. Who said that? Think about it. So I'm telling you, we got it confirmed. The interview that is Adam Lauda, okay, is the interview that I just read before this, the girlfriend. Okay. So here it is again. Let's go. It's very, very important. It's report number 8. Okay. And it changes everything up. I think it's in a good way. He was only interviewed. Adam was interviewed for like 45 minutes. That's about it. Oh my God. Okay. Here we go. Again, the most important thing here is that Adam Lauda was a friend of Kaylee and Maddie and was also their neighbor across the street at that address, King Road in Moscow. He did not know the other two victims. Kaylee was in an on and off again relationship with one of Lauda's roommates, Jack Decor. Blank and blank were in the same fraternity. Lauda and Decor were in the same fraternity. Lauda also knew Mogan's boyfriend, but he had graduated and was living in Boise. He knew Kaylee a little more than Mogan because she had dated Decor, and he said their relationship remained amicable. Lauda and his girlfriend, Zoe, whatever, that's her name, were at his house on Saturday, November 12th. They were at his house on the 12th, which is what she's saying, that she was there. And now his girlfriend went to the victim's house around 10 p.m. And then at approximately at 10:45 p.m., those three got a ride to the corner club located at 202 Main Street. Lauda believed that they got a ride from an Uber driver named Eric. He and his friends went to the corner club shortly after the girls left. Okay. After approximately an hour, Lauda spoke with Gonsalves and Mogan briefly while at the corner club before they left. I told Adam everything. That's probably when that conversation took place. Okay. Lauda's girlfriend told Lauda that the two girls were going to John's Alley Tavern located at 114 East 6th Street. Okay. Lauda saw that they were hanging out with another student he identified as this name and saw them leave the corner club with this person. The girlfriend told Lauda and the two girls did not typically hang out with this person and thought it was odd. Or this, and so she thought it was odd. Like the girl thought it was odd, so she told her boyfriend about it. They're talking about that. Now, right here, so Lauda and his girlfriend walked to her house at approximately 1:30 a.m. and stayed there. They woke up the next morning, Sunday, November 13th, went and got breakfast, and Blank, the girlfriend, drove Adam to his house at approximately 11:45. Now, this is when you can get really sticky with it. There was only one police vehicle in front of the residence when they drove by. Blank, Lauda went outside with Blank and another roommate, Blank, and watched more law enforcement responding to the scene. Then Jack DeCour ran to the victim's house and was there for approximately an hour and a half before returning. Now, what's crazy is you're going to sit here and tell me that you weren't asking Adam questions about what Jack DeCour could have possibly said to you? Jack DeCour was visibly upset and told Blank some of the girls had died. DeCour told Lauda that some of the girls had died and Gonsalves was one of them. Adam Lauda left Moscow later on Sunday. Lauda clarified that he and his girlfriend went to the grub truck on their way from the corner club to his house. He also saw on social media that Gonsalves and Mogan went to the grub truck after he and his girlfriend were there. He just has the wrong time, okay? Which is accurate. They went earlier, so go run it back. So who has the grub truck video? Does anybody have the grub truck video? Well, do yourself a favor. Go and check the grub truck video at about 1:15 or 1:30. You're going to see Adam Lauda and his girlfriend at the grub truck. Should we look at it right now? Do you guys want to see that? You want to just watch this whole fucker blow up right now? This is how wrong everybody's been. This is unbelievable. Holy shit balls. Now, one of the roommates told Adam, dude, I got woke up at like between 4 and 4:45. Fucking dog was going crazy. And I personally think that it somehow just got like the game of telephone. Because I'm telling you, that dog that is barking is not Murphy. Oh my God. Thank you for being here. 1,500 people. Woohoo. Yeah, it's 12:30 in the morning. Who's toast? This ain't about Kohlberger. This is about our government, you fucking idiot. Sit and spin, baby girl. Sit and spin. Kohlberger's toast. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, why don't you go? How about the Bobo case? How about Scott Peterson case? How'd those work out for the government? Absolute. This is crazy. Thank God for fucking Touch DNA. No, this case was never getting solved. Fucking a bunch of dumbasses. Thank God all for him coming to save the day. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm gonna play the grub truck. What timestamp is it at? Yeah, Hobby Master B. You guys, I've gone so far past when I wanted to end, and I've done it all for you guys. You have earned every penny of this. Thank you, September Virgo. Uh, much love and respect. Thank you. Oh, Angel Heart. Look at her turning 5 people green. Look at Allie Tally turning more people green. 5. Angel Heart. What time is it there for you? You're probably loving this time frame. Tina. This is Tina with What the Fuck Transition Services. What the fuck you talking about? Tina, welcome. Thank you for the gifted membership. Angel Heart. Moonvale, how have you been? 25 months. Happy New Year. Hell yeah. Sack Sad World. Nice. Angel Heart. Raging Cajun Girl. I love that name. Hoppy Master. All right. Thank you so much. You the goat. Glad to be here to support your work. Thank you. Appreciate that. Happy New Year's. Yes. Okay. I will play this last clip. Give me this damn grub truck video. We need the. Okay, here it is. Ouch. Anybody know what timestamp it would be? Oh god. No thanks. No thanks on that one. Hold on one second. What the look? Oh, was Birdie in here earlier? Hi, Birdie. It's pretty late. What's up? What's up? Grub Chuck Moscow. I want just the episode that's the Oh, were some people able to get that file, by the way? Let me take a look at my email. Hold on. I have a bunch of emails here. Oh fuck yeah, we got it. Oh shit. Okay. Fuck it. I want to look at these new I want to look at these new videos. Oh, the new files. I'm hosting one of your guys' favorites tomorrow. Don't say we don't come with good shows over here. Pavarotti got him to come live for a what do you call it? A New Year's Eve blast. What do you guys think about that? Ah, Sarah, you're the fucking bomb. Sarah, thank you. Looks like I'm going to stay up for another hour. Yes, haven't ever done a live show. Yes, I should be prepping right now. Be up all night. Okay. Oh, got it. That's not going to work. Shit. Just print this fucking shit. Print, print, print. I might have to just print it. God damn it. Okay, I have it here. And it's unredacted though. And I don't feel comfortable. I'm not putting out people's birthdays. So I have all the pages. I'm just going to redact them on my own. This is the Latah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office reports, okay? And it is. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to redact them. These are unredacted, and that's just not, I'm not comfortable with that. It's not necessary. But I will say that, yeah, I'll go ahead and read these and see if we can add these to the charts. 115 pages. 115. Yeah, they screwed up. I'm actually shocked. So, did they yank them? Um, we'll go ahead and check it out. Go look at the Grub Truck video at the 115, 130 timestamp. So it would have been like, um, yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to print these now. I'm going to call it a wrap. It's been 3 hours and 30 minutes. I want to do a 2 hour live. So, an hour and a half extra. I'm exhausted. I've been working on the Holly Bobo case as well. We're actually going to watch the trial here together, the first trial, because I think there's going to be a second trial here. You guys, I've never seen so much fuckerage in a case. Like, this case is more fuckerage in a case than I saw in Delphi. And I feel like if we watch, because the trial's not that long, it's just like a 2-week trial. And it's so, I hate to say the words that it's entertaining because it should, but it's so fast moving because it's just so unbelievable. And I've never seen a 911 call get entered into evidence in a case by the person that called 911. It's normally like the dispatcher, like there's chain of custody here. No chain of custody on the 911 call. It was entered in by Holly Bobo's mother. Then they have her on the stand, the mom, opening up the brown paper evidence bags in revealing the evidence that they collected from the side of the road, her purse, her lunchbox that they found like thrown all over, her panties that the mom gave the police to like go hunt for like a scent with a dog. Her mom passes out in the sitting in the witness stand in front of the jury when the mom is giving her testimony. She has a panic attack. They have to stop the trial. Like, oh my God, okay, hey, dismiss the jury. Hey, turn these lights on. Hey, get a nurse over here. What the fuck? Then the defense goes to move for a mistrial, which it should have been, because like that's just so prejudicial. Like this jury just, I mean, and he's like, no, it wasn't that woman didn't plan that. That wasn't like, she's not trying to gain sympathy. It's like, what? It's insane. I've never seen, I was speechless. But I can't even believe when you guys want to hear what this woman did as a defense attorney. She has no idea what she's doing. She's like, I want to impeach that person right there. I'm telling you, the judge, that I'm using this now for impeachment purposes for a prior inconsistent statement. And then here's Jennifer Nichols getting her fat ass up there and acting like a fucking hoe. And so I want to blast this, man. I want to blast this. I want to, after what the prosecution said in their closing argument yesterday, talking about what a great defense Zachary Adams had. Yeah, no. I can't even, like, and I know this is going to come out and people are going to be like, because I'm going to put a little twist on every person that goes up there to testify. I'm going to say this now. This is what the jury didn't hear that if the defense attorney would have went with. And all she has to do is do this timeline. You guys, when the screaming and Bobo's neighbor heard like somebody scream or whatever, she's literally on the phone with her mom at that time. She's on the phone with her boyfriend. How this doesn't come out in trial is beyond me. The timeline is right in front of us. Holly Bobo was on the phone with her boyfriend numerous times and her mom numerous times that morning during the time that the neighbor is claiming that he heard the screams and heard the conversation that she was having with the male. It's a fact. And I'm going to show it and prove it. I just cannot believe. And I get it. Nobody ever wants to like talk about, like, hey, you're accusing the family of something then. There's also a huge problem with the 911 call on the time that it was called. And there's also a huge problem for me on who found Holly Bobo's SIM card. You guys know how big SIM cards are? They're like teeny, teeny, teeny. A woman 30 days later after Holly Bobo was abducted finds Holly Bobo's SIM card. And I thought for sure the person that found the SIM card was going to testify at trial. The person that found the SIM card was a co-worker of Holly Bobo's brother. It's wild, man. So anyways, we all have to see this because this is crazy. And this is not, this prosecutor is basically, if Ashley Jennings gets away with what she did in the Brian Kober case, she will be a Jennifer Nichols. I'm putting it out there. It's like Ashley Jennings is almost like Jennifer Nichols' daughter. They look alike. They look alike. Gotta see this shit. But you guys, also Holly Bobo's phone goes the opposite way before it goes the way that they want to put it going with Zach Adams. I mean, it's crazy. And nobody wants to talk about that, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about things that are going to make people uncomfortable, but hey, the timeline of the Holly Bobo abduction is not accurate. It's wrong. And yeah, Nichols is a judge now. Isn't that sick? It's so crazy. Yeah. All right. So join me back here tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. You guys rock. And we're going to keep bringing it. Donna, thank you so much. Thanks, Lana, for all of your hard work. Best way to spend my... Australia. Love it. Truth Seeker, what's good? This is the perfect live to celebrate 33 months. I love the number 33. The mom of Carson Hockey, the best 31 months of my life. I know we met through JLR, didn't we? Is that accurate? Vonda! Vonda, what's up? Thank you for your hard work and commitment to finding the truth. Happy New Year to you too. Thank you so much. Thrive Collective. Love your work. Sally, this super chat will likely only buy you a syllable from MPD. It's like, hopefully things are going to start changing. With recent conversations, I think we're going to start seeing some changes. So today, we just got a huge another dump, like the 115 pages. So Donna says, love you for your integrity, not showing the unredacted reports. Yeah, I'm going to redact them, though. I'll figure out a way. If they're not going to put them out, I'll redact them and put them out. So, all right, guys, come back tomorrow. Me and your boy Pavarotti alive together to close out 2025. So, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Rest up. Peace out.